Welcome everybody to late night number 225, excuse me.
Woo, we did it. We're here.
We made it. We are in Top Cut. This is Archaludon versus Raging Bolt.
Ooh, hold on a minute. Archaludon? Spice?
Yes, I'm very excited to see how this deck does. A lot of people have been kind of picking it up a little bit more recently, and I'm a fan. We don't see metal too often, so it's nice to see some other types of energy being used.
Very true. The most I've been seeing metal before this was in Pikachu EX decks for Surging Sparks, so good to see it seeing wider play. We did get a couple of Archaludon last week, but it was not necessarily a widely played deck, as compared at least to Raging Bolt, who has been the format specter for the last, I don't know, a couple weeks.
We'll see how it goes. I am Nate here with Michaela, of course.
Of course.
Welcome,
as
everybody.
Always.
Welcome.
259 players today, and it all comes down to this top 16.
So excited. All right, we picked up the Pheasantipity. We threw it away with Professor's Research. We are getting our board set. We have the Archaludon EX ready to attack in the active.
Okay.
How much damage does it do, actually?
Archaludon? 230.
220.
I can't count. No, it's over for me. I gave a random call off the cuff.
It was very close. It was very close.
No, that's not good enough, man. 220 is not the same as a KO on a 230 HP Pokemon.
True. But it was enough to KO that active Raging Bolt and take the first two prizes for our German player here, Pain is in the Air.
Hey, I remember that name. They've been around. I believe they were playing this deck last week. Let's take a look at that deck. Ooh.
As the 2/2 Dialga, it looks kind of standard for the archetype. I like seeing the Scoop Up Cyclone. I'm a fan of that card.
Yeah, I mean, what if we had Turo, but it picked up the energy and it wasn't a supporter?
Yeah.
Good concept. Can't imagine it would possibly not go over well.
But it does seem as if our Raging Bolt player has a pretty good setup here. Was able to take the first two prizes already. And now some Teal Dances, getting energy back into play. And all they need is a Sada, perhaps, to look for the KO here.
Do they have it? Do they have it?
Big pause, maybe not.
What
do we think of the Lost City in Raging Bolt?
Lost City, just as a general tech, has been sort of not easy to understand at first glance for people who are not encountered this before. But for those who've seen it in the past couple formats, it's a really good way to delete a one-off attacker that gets restored with a Super Rod or a Night Stretcher. So if you see your opponent with a one of, for example, Sableye, you could just get rid of it, and now the whole matchup is different. So a one of Lost City in Raging Bolt could be pretty good for getting rid of decks that have a lot of one prize or attacker options that just keep putting themselves back, like Roaring Moon, the small one, and putting Lost City in there as a single copy lets you just get rid of that answer. So I would say, or at least this matchup, maybe you could delete a Relicanth using the Lost City, and all of a sudden now you've got to use that attack that has a pretty heavy retreat cost if you need to retreat to use it again. Alternatively, you could get rid of your opponent's Pheasantipity, and all of a sudden for the rest of the game, there's no chance you're going to have a random 3-card draw off of a knockout. So it's a good way to cut down resources for decks that have a lot of recursion.
Meanwhile, that Iono into boss's order to take out the Teal Mask is pretty brutal here.
That's what we call big oof. Big oof.
Not only losing 2 prize cards, but also access to that grass energy that was set up on the Teal Mask is going to make this KO even harder this turn. Okay, we get to retrieve a grass at least. We're looking for 5 energies.
Okay, that's usually pretty doable for a Raging Bolt deck.
It's going to need a Sada again. Or, I guess, another Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Indeed.
There is the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Do they have the lightning in hand is the question now. Or they might
We're
need to
counting
Night
down-
Stretcher the lightning if they don't have it in hand.
Yeah, I could see a lightning stretcher, as it were.
Then they have to find another way to get a 5th energy onto the board. Taking 2 turns off attack feels like that's the end of the game. Like, I don't think you can come back after that.
Not optimistic.
Okay, they had the retrieval as well.
I hate ads.
The baby blood moon. Hold on. What is cooking in this deck? So
Hold on a minute.
This pulls out
Hold on a minute.
fighting from hand, so it is another way to accelerate energies.
Wow. Now I have to relook at this Raging Bolt list. I just sort of assumed that's what I get. Yep. This is a good tech. Wow.
Yeah, it cuts down. It's almost like a Sada if you are running more energy retrieval cards, which it seems like they are.
Have you seen this entire list? Oh my goodness. It's one-ofs and one-ofs and one-ofs and one-ofs.
That is the
It's
problem
working.
with playing Tex, of course, is that it makes other things less consistent. But they are running 4 fighting energy to try to take advantage of this Blood Moon Ursaluna.
I can see why. It's like Teal Mask at home, but it's also a 1 prize answer, and it does good into the mirror to take some maybe early game, maybe not early game, but take some off-tempo knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you'd have to have all 4 of those fighting. Well, you have to have at least 2 of those fighting energy in hand, and with only 4 in deck, that's 50% of your fighting energy. So, not the most likely option, but it does happen every once in a while. And off of an earthen vessel, you can guarantee it. So, a lot of good sneaky uses for that. Okay, Pheasantipity, Dialga. I may be a bit behind watching the stream for you.
I think it should be. Oh, right. That's totally my bad.
Thank you. Okay, now we've got it. We've got our casters synced up, ladies and gentlemen. So we've repaired the problem.
It's gonna be a big turn here for our Archaludon. 2 evolutions, putting tons of metal energy onto this Dialga V-Star in the active. This should just be the game. I think they can Star Kronos and then just attack.
Oh yeah.
That is why these 2 Pokemon are paired together in this deck. You don't need a Metang to build up your Dialga anymore because we have Archaludon EX instead.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Archaludon will do a guaranteed 4 metal energy, whereas 2 Metang can't guarantee that. So the numbers have gone up. The only problem is you can only do that for each Duraludon placed down, so hence the scoop up Cyclone and the other pieces. Now, is that our game 1 or is that our game 2? I believe game 1.
Yes, I think that is correct.
Okay, then we're going to get a second game, at least in this best of 3. And we're going to need to see some pretty clever plays come out of this Raging Bolt player if they want to take game 2. Although that Blood Moon Ursaluna, I love what they're doing. I mean, the flavor of this cook is excellent.
It's a nice sneaky play, but I think the bigger problem was that we couldn't find any Professor Sadas that game. And with only 2 Pokegear in the deck and only 1 Pokestop to perhaps find those Pokegear, that's the struggle with including these other cards.
Yeah, the Pokestop being such a limited count. I mean, it's, on one hand, you're not going to discard your supporters. On the other hand, you need cards, and where are you going to get them from?
Yeah.
So there's also 2 copies of Trekking Shoes. Usually, I would play that with the higher Pokestop count. So interesting choice to go for more shoes than stops.
Yeah, it feels like one of those perhaps could be a second Pokestop. Both players setting up 2 Pokemon. Not often you see that.
Yeah, it's a pretty healthy game start, so no one's going to be walled out of the game immediately on turn 1 by a lack of basics, but let's see where we go from here. Pokestop discarding a Dialga, but grabbing 2 Nest Balls. Pretty good.
That's a fair
Turn
trade,
1.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. Especially when you know you have 2 Dialga in there. You can just get the other one out with a Nest Ball. Cha-ching! Going for a third Archaludon. Well, At this point, they're still little Duraludons. Remember when we didn't think they could evolve?
One day they'll become an arch.
Okay, let's see. We have opponent's Pokestop discarding 2 energy. That's pretty good. That's already setting you up for a Sada. Especially Williams Lightning. And we just need to get a Sada.
Now, the nice thing about this start, though, from our Archaludon player is that it is a single prize board state. So, sure that Raging Bolt can get the first knockout, but it's only going to be 1 prize, and then perhaps you can send up 2/2/2 afterwards and force them to take more knockouts than they would like to in the game.
Correct. And with the ability to scoop up Pokemon, that Greninja that, can't evolve into a 2-prizer, you just, whoop, pick it up.
So it is a nice first turn here for Archaludon.
Yeah, across the board, being able to Sada turn 1 is always a welcome start. Oh, Gust into the Greninja. Interesting.
The Ogerpon is interesting.
Is there an E-switch? Surely not. Well, I said surely not. I was not so sure.
This conserves the energy, so this perhaps could attack next turn as well. Is that another one?
Going for another one?
I guess they need it.
For the knockout, yeah.
That's a lot of resources to spend, though.
True, but it's all enabled by that one perfectly lucky Pokestop. I mean, that was finding the line for that play must have been very complicated. You don't start the turn thinking, yeah, I'm going to use 2 energy switch on an Ogerpon today.
Right.
It's like inverse Reggie Drago. I mean, you move them off the Ogerpon. And the Bravery Charm, too. That's got to feel good. Because now you can't get immediately knocked out without a Lost Vacuum or a Jamming Tower. I don't believe there's a Jamming Tower in either list.
Right.
Although this Bolt player does carry a single copy of Lost Vacuum, so could get a knockout. It's just unlikely. All right, Lumineon, what are you going to fish for today? You already see my favorite supporter, Thornton, in the deck.
Yeah.
You already see
it.
No, they're not going for it. They're not going for it. Okay, I was about to just say, like, are they going to do it, grab the Dialga, go?
We definitely need more cards than this.
Yeah, but it would have been really cool if they did that.
This counter catcher is going to be pretty effective, I feel. All of the energy stuck on the Ogerpon. There's none in the discard yet for a Sada play, so this Raging Bolt, I think, is going to sit around for a little bit.
Interesting choice to scoop up Lumineon instead of to go for maybe a double attachment scenario. Palpad puts back Boss's Orders Turo. At least that looked like a Turo to me.
Not playing Archaludon either.
Ooh, 5 metal in hand. That's not good.
You're gonna start attaching them every turn.
You do not like to see it. Dropping a Dialga, and you could just pick up Lumineon. That'd be cool. Or you could just get Greninja. Greninja works too, especially considering that hand.
Yeah, we need some more help. We have lots of energy to throw away, so.
And there will be even more energy to throw away subsequently.
Importantly, too, getting it in the discard to be pulled out by Archaludon's ability.
Correct. Ultra Ball putting them straight back in. That was a perfect Greninja. Little bit of debate here. Pheasantipity for an extra 3.
Pheasant hope to draw into. You want to attack this turn, it feels like.
Yeah. It looks like we're committing to the Archaludon play.
This will be 220 damage. A good start for this Raging Bolt. That sets it up for a knockout later.
Absolutely. And that they're not going to put another Bravery Charm on it, because what is that going to do?
Yeah, the charms don't feel, other than the Ogerpons, which I guess is a nice use case.
That's true, but since we gusted away the Ogerpon, it's not happening.
There goes the bear into the discard.
No Blood Moon Ursaluna today.
Not gonna see it this time.
Not without a Night Stretcher.
Feels like that's okay though, because we do need our fighting on the Raging Bolts to start attacking.
True, and going for a 7th prize, you're already in the lead. It'd be nice to have a 7th prize, but it's not necessary if you're this far in the lead. So it's okay to just put that to the side for now, maybe come back to it later with a Night Stretcher or something. But Bravery Charm going down in the other Ogre Pawn.
Finds the second charm, having played no Sadas yet. It's a little surprising, but it's nice setup here for Raging Bolt.
Well, there was the first Sada, wasn't there? To put the energy that got double E-switched onto the Ogre Pawn.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess there was a manual attached. You're right.
Yeah. Let's see. Pokestop. Ooh, a lot of supporters in there, including my favorite and the Relicanth. Rough. Fortunately, they'll be able to take a knockout. With no manual attachment, probably conserving that for the Greninja.
Yeah. You'd almost rather that they all be in the discard anyway. With our two Duraludons ready to evolve on a future turn.
Yeah, and there's a world where you use the Earthen Vessel, discard the energy, just to thin out 2 more before you take that turn. Doing it this way, maybe you're more protected against Iono, or just gives you more options to have him directly in hand next turn.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of math here. It's 8 times 30 right now, so 240. We've already used... Okay, I was wondering if there was a world where the Tealmaz could one-hit KO the Archaludon, but not quite.
At 30 per energy, they'd need a combined 10, I believe, and I don't think they're getting close enough to that this turn.
It's plus 30, so they only need 9. They were 1 off.
Oh, you're right. No
assuming
resistance?
They had the manual. I don't believe so. I'll check. Does the bridge have resist? It does resist grass. Oh.
Yep, there we go. I remembered a small factoid that time. Never mind that it's not 230. Okay, Sada attached to lightning. We're going to need that fighting energy to come down because I haven't seen one at all from across the board, and it's at least halfway through the deck by now. There's 4 of them. Where are they hiding? Okay, there's an Earthen Vessel.
We'll certainly find them.
They can't have prized all 4 of the fighting energy, right?
Seems unlikely.
Nope.
Yeah, there's the one. Draw another card from another Teal Dance.
What did Raging Bolt say to the Ogre Pawn when it put down some energy? Don't get too attached. Because it discards them. I'm sorry, Nate.
It certainly does, yeah.
Okay, Nest Ball.
That was a good one. I liked it. It's okay.
Okay.
Speaking of energy, though, they definitely have a lot of it ready to go for these big knockouts. And we even get to Lost City, this first one.
All right, who's going to the Lost Zone? Probably this Archaludon. I mean, I don't expect some kind of counter catcher shenanigans now, but in terms of team term order, this would be the time to do it. Okay, another replacement bolt. That was a little concerning. There were no replacement bolts. Now we have one. And that'll be a solid knockout.
5 energies for 350 damage.
You think that's enough?
Just barely.
Nah. All right, 3 to 4, fairly even game, although a Rapid Star Chronos may change that very quickly.
We will need to find the V-Star. Which isn't guaranteed, but we do have a research to draw 7 and 2 more cards from a concealed cards here.
Okay, Ultra Ball, that's the way. We're going to discard a couple pieces to make it happen, but probably that Iono and probably that Metal Energy. Well, maybe not the Metal Energy. You can still do stuff. Okay, we're holding we're going to hold the Iono so we can get the disruption going. I see how it is. Okay, we do have a Dialga V-Star. It's the last one in deck, thank goodness. And I quite fully believe that this will lead us into knockout territory.
It's still a little scary. The Iono has to hit another Archaludon.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about the lack of Turo in hand. I would have loved to have a Turo in hand right now, and you just done. Instead, we're holding Iono, which is much less secure. But I mean, with a 9-card hand in that kind of a deck, you kind of got to do something. Okay, there we go. Night Stretcher, pick it up, and you can get rid of the Lost City if you feel like it. But honestly, do you want to? Because you could just get rid of the Pheasantipity.
That seems quite strong, yeah. And you're not... This Dialga goes down, that you're fine with that.
Exactly. And the Dialga won't go down for at least 2 turns. You know what I mean?
2 turns to someone.
Okay, we're going for the Pokestop play, so we can get the extra 3 cards. And since we'll be able to take an extra turn, that'll basically be a
double boss.
2 Oh, that... Were they trying to discard? The deck is so small. Maybe they were going for the Lost Vacuum?
At any rate, a Star Chronos is enough to knock out Pheasantipity, so now we get a second turn.
Okay, there's the other V-Star, and Iono. Can't hurt. So that's why they committed the Iono play last turn, because the other one was prized, so they had to do it now. With the one they had in hand, instead of wait for the next turn Iono.
Right.
Yeah. That ends up... Okay, let's take a look at that deck. Do we have the pieces to endgame here? Silene. Ooh, Vacuum must be prized, and it's one of the last 2 prizes. So we're not going to get an instant 2-prize knockout on the Ogre Pond, but maybe we could get some kind of something for the... Well, there's no Gust available because they both got discarded off the boss.
And also when it feels like lost sitting that Fez last turn maybe would have been a little bit better. There's a world where Raging Bolt finds a Night Stretcher, draws 3 with Pheasantipity, and then is able to actually get the knockout on this Dialga V-Star.
Yeah, and they also gave their opponent a Pokestop back, so
right.
that's no good. I'm seeing a little bit of buyer's remorse here.
Right.
You gotta do something. We're gonna go for a Metal Explosion. One prize left.
Is there another metal? Oh, it finds the boss.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's just disgusting. Because now, how are you going to get the last 2 energy down? Because you can put some down with the last Archaludon with a Night Stretcher, but who's going to be left to attack with?
If they can find... The knockout is not the easiest thing to find here.
No, and especially with Iono shuffling everyone to so few cards... I would think that without Greninja and without Pheasantipity, there's going to be some struggle in the Roaring Bolt side or Raging Bolt side to get a combo going.
Stop into Shoes.
Shoes could do it. I don't know what they could do, but they could do it. Shoes and Asada.
Shoot Asada, yeah, would be enough.
I mean, this is the turn. If they can't do it this turn, it's concluded. Also, getting the Lone Silene off the Iono, that's not bad. Because you could just... Well, I guess nothing's getting knocked out, so you can't just Pheasantipity.
We took the 1 card from the Shoes. Playing a Vessel here.
Okay, Pokestop, grabbing some energy. Teal Dance? Teal Dance and Asada? Okay, they went for a Lightning, so it's not going to be a double Teal Dance.
There might not have
Unless
been. I think we're running low on grass, right? They're all in the discard.
Yeah, I would say.
We had 5 attached earlier.
Yeah. Okay, Nest Ball doesn't grab anything. Oh, that's close.
So it is the knockout, which is important.
That is very good.
The follow-up for both players is going to be hard now.
Yeah.
It takes all of the energy on the Raging Bolt side and all of the energy on the Dialga Archaludon side. Nobody's got anything ready to go.
Mm-hmm. There's also a pretty cool game here where if you somehow Silene back every resource to recover Relicanth, you could maybe bait getting a 2-hit KO by putting damage onto the Duraludon or the Archaludon, and then using Duraludon's attack to deal extra damage based on that. So it's definitely a who's got the attack off first, and it has to be a 1-hit KO, I think, for Raging Bolt. But for our Archaludon player over here, maybe you could play conservatively.
Are there even... the Silene has to hit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's no alternative. You have to use Silene. Probably put back like a Night Stretcher, because that gets you both a Pokemon.
Yeah, it has to be... Well, no, because... Yeah, there's a 4th. I'm thinking the one Archaludon got Lost Zoned. but there's 4 in the deck.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any mental energy left to discard, so this is maybe an Iono prevention move. Okay, there's 1 Night Stretcher, a Boss, and a Dialga. Well, don't put back Thornton. Don't do that.
Oh, no!
Oh, that's disgusting! No!
Eileen is not real.
That is not a girl boss moment. Oh. Not the auto concede. Oh, they had an option.
There was a world where they could have played it out at least another turn or 2.
To do what, though? I mean, Archaludon is your last energy resource. You Night Stretch it back up and evolve it, and there's nothing that can attack for just 2. Like, the only way is to somehow stall your opponent and just use that 30 damage.
It's possible
attack.
that the Raging Bolt couldn't attack either, right? There was a lot of resources were gone on both sides.
I think that's possible, but I don't think that's realistic. I do think Raging Bolt could have taken that. So I can see why they would have scooped to go to game 3 to conserve time. But you're right, there was still an out left.
Right, yeah. Kind of an odd game for both sides, though. It was not really what either deck would like to be doing the majority of that game.
True. It all comes down to this. You know, you love to see a good 3 upset. You know, sometimes it's just a commanding 2-0 lead. This is not one of those times. This is cinema. Opening with the Dialga is nice, beautiful, strong. Gorgeous art.
It is a nice card.
And the gold earthen vessel across the table are nothing to sniff at as well. Very, very nice. Chat, who do you think's taking game 3?
This is, I believe, the first time that our Dialga player gets to decide first or second. And they've chosen second this time.
Okay. Going for that turn 1 supporter activity.
And also denying Raging Bolt the chance at a first attack knockout on the first turn.
Very true. Yeah, Raging Bolt loves going second.
Charm on the Pheasantipity this time. Protecting the card draw as much as possible.
It's a little ironic considering there's also a Squawkabilly. But, you know, there's 2 Bravery Charms.
Well, the Squawkabilly can't get above the 220 mark. So it's
true.
Accepted its fate, I believe, on the bench.
Yeah, but if it's already below the 220 mark, then putting the Bravery Charm on the Pheasantipity doesn't necessarily do much other than make it less of a gust target, which is still relevant. So it's still a good play.
Yeah, I think
it's just not as impactful as it might have been.
Given the option between the 2, you would certainly take the Fez first. So this denies that.
Yeah. Good. Fair point. Fair point. And also, the Ogre Pawn have 210 HP as well. So it's really not a bad play.
Finds the second one for the active as well. No Raging Bolts in sight, however.
Yeah, but we're pretty brave about it.
It's one of those energy switches, which were somewhat important last game for the first attack.
What an interesting inclusion, and I definitely agree with it. I think it's really cool, but
I think
it goes
hand in hand with the Blood Moon idea.
Yep.
Because then you can pull the fighting out and move them onto the Raging Bolts if you need to attack, and you don't need the Sada that turn, basically.
We have Sada at home. Sada at home.
Is a bear holding a little switch tube.
Yeah, but they also happen to have the superior energy retrieval, so if they're all in the discard, you could still do the play. Okay, this Nest Ball is seeking out a Greninja. Greninja's on the bench. Now we're going to get to draw stuff. Very good.
Great hand, actually.
Yeah, this is a fantastic hand for an early game. Archaludon is on the bench. We want to get another one. Maybe Super Ultra Ball. Oh, nope. We're not going to get another one. I was going to say with the Night Stretcher, you could maybe play around, discard one, and then like pick it up later, but it's not happening.
I like leaving the option open because we might want to go into the Dialga V-Star with that.
Sada's back. Back again.
This could be a knockout here, though, pretty easily.
Absolutely. I believe it takes 4 energy to do, and there's 4 energy on the board. So another one to attack and another one to retreat, maybe?
Steel Dance is one of those 2.
Okay, Penny. Well, that's a little counterproductive considering it puts the energy back in hand.
Penny could be nice later on, though, with that 220 on some a charmed Ogerpon or a Raging Bolt and just fully heal that damage.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm being silly. You could have picked it up, put it back down, and then used Steel Dance again. And then you would have just been able to Steel Dance on both.
But we did Sada this turn already, of course.
Ah, you're right. Infinite wisdom.
So we are going to see the knockout on this active Dialga V. This is the problem with opening up the Dialga. You'd rather wait until later. But no way to get that 2-prizer out of the active.
Well, there's always the magical power of Thornton.
That is true. His powers no other man has.
He's a little short. But other than that, we stand a short king. Okay. Duraludon, probably going to be our main attacker this turn. Silene going directly to this card after the shenanigans she pulled last time.
It's just, supporter, flip 2 coins for fun.
Yeah, it's just, you didn't really need anything, right? You just flip tails. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we're going to grab an Iono off of our Lumineon. That's pretty good considering the state of the board.
Cut that 8-card hand down to 4 for your opponent. Feels pretty good.
Okay, we're going to put Thornton back. That's my boy. And maybe... Oh, Silene. She's being given a second chance.
It's important. It could have been huge last game if even one of the coins had flipped heads. So
Exactly. It's a good card, and it's a really tough balancing act when you could 25% of the time get nothing. But if it works, it's a unreplicable effect. I mean, not even the V-Star Darkrai picks up supporters or random special energy. And Silene just says, yep, 2 cards. Maybe. Or not.
Reggie, he would like to have a word. But
oh, that's true.
It's only trainers, but it's still basically just as strong.
Okay, Duraludon is down. And that's going to be not knockout, but very close.
And this is safe damage, too, because we know the penny from the gear is on the bottom of the deck.
Correct. Gotta love that Iono play.
Not worried about this 220 damage being healed in any way.
Yeah, and knowing that the open deck list is like that, pretty good way to plan that turn out. Okay, Superior Energy Retrieval is coming down. Discarding a regular Energy Retrieval, that's interesting.
Close to a knockout here again. We can take back at least 2 grass. Another one to manually attach. I suppose we still need the Sada here, but...
We did just put 4 in the discard, so there's definitely 4 available to grab. Another Teal Dance. Do we have Sada?
Boss instead? Okay, you still get 2 prizes.
Yeah, that's pretty clean. I mean, in a world where you can't Sada, you might as well boss. All right, our Duraludon player is now just kind of gripping onto the rails, the handrails for dear life, because one more 2-prize knockout will conclude the game entirely. And 300 HP is a lot, but not to Raging Bolt.
Yeah.
Bit of a debate here on who to promote. It's looking like it's going to be Duraludon.
Okay, we can get the knockout with the first attack here to leave the single prizer in the active.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be the way. The problem is if you set anything down and it's not a 300 HP Pokemon or a 1-prizer, it's pretty vulnerable to a 2-prize knockout and ending the game. So Night Stretcher for Dialga might normally be a solid play, but looking at this board state, you're like, I don't know. Let me Iono instead.
Set them to 2. Hopefully they don't find any of their good pieces to keep setting up. I feel like in order to win the game, you do need to put down the Dialga, though.
It's either you put down the Dialga or you Thornton it in, and Thornton it in is safer, but you can't rely on that because you just shuffled it back in. So I guess it's got to be Dialga. It's Bespoke. Ooh, wait, no, it doesn't, apparently.
Toss it away. Probably another Archaludon. Yeah, get the Duraludon set up.
Okay, new line. We're going to go for just a lot of Duraludons. This is a good line.
30 damage. Huge. Gets the knockout.
Okay. Draw 2 prizes. 4 and 2. We're still in it. Ooh, 2 mental energy off the top. That's great for that Ultra Ball.
What are in the 3-card hand here? We'll see.
I mean, it's got to be everything.
Oh, of course, it's a 6-card hand. Yeah, what was I thinking?
Well, it's got to be everything.
There is still a Prime Catcher left in the deck.
Yep, if you consult a Prime Catcher, the game should be pretty cleared up. You know, assuming you've got the energy and the teal dances. The only trouble with the Prime Catcher is that once you use it, you've got to retreat something in. So maybe promoting Okerpon would have been stronger.
Yeah, that's true. Got to think about your outs on a turn.
Yeah, unless, I mean, Counter Catcher would not work in this scenario. And unless there's Pokemon Catcher, Coin Flips, it's going to have to be a great catcher.
I don't think there are any catchers in the deck.
Yeah, I didn't see any either. I mean, there's a lot of one-ups, but Pokemon Catcher is not one of them. I'll tell you what, if they find a Gust effect, that'll really catch your attention.
It would. It would catch the judge's attention, perhaps, too.
Indeed. Flutter Mane on the bench. I'm not going to do too much. There's no ability in the active you need to suppress. But it does give you a 1 prize option. It also
it's
means
also
we're not
another
going to
Sada target. It's an ancient Pokemon to get more energy into play.
Correct. It means we're not going to see an Blood Moon Ursaluna play, but we are going to see Sada attach 2 energy, and you're right. It's going to go directly onto that Flutter Mane.
Draw 3. Did we find the Prime Catcher?
We did find an energy. Just need to finish the thing.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't have it. All right, this is going to give our Archaludon player 1 more turn, which with Dialga could be 2 turns, but I don't think Dialga's happening.
Yeah, not with this our 1 Duraludon being knocked out here. We only can have access to 3 surprise energy, I suppose. 2 from the discard and 1 from attaching. Which isn't quite enough to start Chronos yet. So we would need Thornton the Greninja into a second one and then double evolve. But we don't even have the Dialga down, so it's...
Yeah, this is ridiculously complicated. And we couldn't... I don't think that was wrong last turn. Like, I think you can't put down the Dialga in a scenario like this because 4 energy would be able to do it with a Gust, and they achieved that, so... I mean, there could just be a Prime Catcher in hand.
Minus the Gust, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, if it's in hand, you could have done 280 to the Archaludon. Granted, it could have been lifted up, so maybe you didn't. But it could be in hand, and certainly if you don't Iono again, it probably will.
I'm curious if this line ever wins us the game as Archaludon, though. Because this, like, from here, it seems like there's not a route out anymore. Whereas last turn, there maybe would have been one.
Choosing not to put the Night Stretcher Dialga back down was definitely a pivotal moment in this game. And if this player has an out, they're going to find it. If they don't have an out, we're going to all notice that. But it's game 3. This is the last chance to really secure that bag. Okay, Relicanth does not go down. Technically speaking, it doesn't change the prize map because it's worth about as many energy to discard as Greninja or Duraludon, so it's not like going to change the knockout math. But what do you even do here? I mean, there's a world where you counter catcher, knockout. It can't be Pheasantipity because you don't have the Lost Vacuum in hand. I don't even think this player has the Lost Vacuum. I think Bolt has the vacuum.
You could knock out the, importantly here, the Teal Mask with the energy on it is the one without the charm. So you could take that out and remove an energy in the process.
Another day, another sequencing puzzle.
Which probably has to be the play, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a world where you just take 220 on the Bolt because the Bolt is your only attacker, but what does that really do for you? Whereas if you take the knockout, sure, the Bolt gets promoted again. You've discarded an energy, you've gotten rid of a Teal Dance, and... Oh, there's the Dialga down. Okay, this is getting serious.
Manual attach. We need to get to 5. It's a lot.
I don't even. Do we Pokestop here? I mean, what are you gonna dig for though? Not using the counter catcher is a certified moment.
Did we throw it away with the Ultra Ball?
I think so.
We
Granted, I
wouldn't-
could be
yeah.
hallucinating.
We
as
wouldn't
usual.
want to research this turn anyway, so I guess that's the idea.
Exactly.
This is gonna leave a lot to fate here.
Oh, I don't know.
Hitting the Fez
Molly Swag in
instead.
chat is saying "Rip Dialga, my homie," and I think Molly might be right.
This leaves the energy in play. I suppose it forces the manual onto the Pheasantipity if they're trying to attack.
It does, and they can't use the Pheasantipity
There's
to draw.
There's
but...
switch cards. Okay, Teal Dance here gets a 4th energy into play. We're looking for 5 as the magic number. Manual is going to be there to retreat. We need another Teal Dance now.
Another Teal Dance, Asada.
Or Boss, that works.
Oh, nope. Boss
Even
does
better.
it.
Going after the little bridge.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little dude. Well, now he's a little bit in the discard. So that will close up the game for our Raging Bolt player, bringing them into top 8. Well played from our Raging Bolt player for sure.
Quite the back and forth match, actually.
Absolutely. A lot of Ionos to like no cards and then slowly working their way up to sequence and recover. Very strong play.
Pretty good. And they're moving on into top 8, like you said.
Indeed.
Get you in here. There you are. How's it going, everybody? This is the first time we've seen you, so welcome to the tournament. Mick, how's it going?
Gosh, I've been here for all of 20 seconds, and it looks like this Dialga has just sort of warped time around me. There was a whole game that happened I wasn't even there for. I must have come back from the future to do it.
Let's see what else we can find here. I think there's some other matches going on.
Okay. What are you hoping to see? I've noticed in our top cut today, as a special treat for me personally, someone is playing what looks to be, why can't I see it? A Blood Rune Ursaluna Iron Valiant deck.
Yes.
A Conkeldurr, and there's a Cloth. So I'm eating good this evening.
Cloth is the nice new hotness. That's what everybody is on nowadays, it seems like.
I feel like I was ahead of the curve on Cloth, but that's me, preaching to the choir, because now everyone likes Cloth.
But the Cloth with Terapagos is the nice new thing that we haven't seen before. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be playing it more and more.
It's really strong into the mirror as well, because Cloth has that weakness bonus. So, good stuff.
All right. We're going to jump into our top table, as it were. It is
Excellent.
a Charizard versus Reggie Drago.
All right, that's classy. Oh, and there's a Chen Pao as well. I don't mean to lapse for our Chen Pao lovers.
Check it out. So we are in the first couple of turns here. This is, let's see, Vox Infinum on the Charizard Pidgeot and Bubble Kai on Reggie Drago.
Okay, Reggie Drago looks very well set up. Charizard looks what I would call anemic. That is looking like a concede scenario.
Yeah, the final. All right.
Don't worry, it didn't count. We'll just go to game 2 and pretend that was game 1. Yep, beautiful. It happens. Every once in a while you get a bad hand. Yeah.
Let's check our deck lists out. What are we working with here? It is Unfair Stamp in Charizard, which is, I feel like, had a resurgence lately.
Very nice.
And our Drago player seems rather standard. No Executor.
Oh, there's no Executor, but a 1/1 Hoot Hoot Noctowl line. Very nice. Classy.
Yeah, a lot of people have been jumping on that as well. Of course, the Teal Mask Ogerpon is a Terra Pokemon, so that activates Noctowl's ability.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sniff at a casual random Inteleon, so we'll take that. 3 Earthen Vessel, 2 Super Rod, 1 Cologne. Priceless. Otherwise, this is a pretty standard list.
Yeah.
Cleffa is interesting. That's not always in there.
For both players, says Cleffa, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cleffa's usually in there for Zard, but I mean, it's definitely played in plenty of decks. It just doesn't always.
Charizard decks with 5 energy only. They're getting greedier and greedier.
Remember they used to play 7 and people thought that was low?
5 is nuts.
We've also got a copy of Briar. So that'll be fun. Maybe a little late game double prize activity. Okay, nest ball coming down. Bubble Kai will draw something and place it on the bench.
Perhaps a Teal Mask Ogrepon.
Perhaps.
Or a second Drago.
I feel like in a situation versus Zard where you've gone second, you're probably safe to put down Ogrepon, especially because Ogrepon's weakness, or Ogrepon hits the dark type grass weakness, so it's just good to get out anyway. Like you don't even need to be using Reggie Dragos this matchup, except for maybe Surprise Net.
Charizard isn't a fire deck.
What's a fire type? Never heard of that in my life. Never mind the Charmander and the Charmeleon. They're not there. They're merely a vessel. They were drawing. We're ultra balling.
Oh, this is my fault. There we go. Oh no, they're still deciding. Sometimes if windows aren't the right size, they stop showing, and then you guys can't see the match anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was frozen as well, but no, it was just a well thought out maybe deck search with that Ultra Ball, check the prizes. Yeah, that makes sense. Skirting a boss. You can just pick it up with Legacy Beastar later, it's fine. Okay, there's an Ogrepon. That is a very nice setup.
Really efficient with the hand.
Coupled with the Iono, oh, gorgeous.
Now, the second hand for our Charizard player is looking a little bit more rough than the first one.
Yeah, we're going to need maybe something good off this Iono to turn this hand around. Although Buddy Buddy Puffin and a Nest Ball are not, the worst things to have in hand either.
You're going to play some stuff before the Iono.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have the Hoot Hoot ready to go. And there is also Dragapult and Giratina in the discard for Drago. So they are getting quite set up as well.
Okay.
Triple
Another
Ogrepon. This is a great bench.
Yeah, this is a good day to be that Reggie Drago player, especially after game 1. We call this eating good. Earthen Vessel. Mew in the discard. We don't even need that.
No space for it. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just gonna draw cards the normal way.
Through Teal Dancing. Yeah, you're right. The normal way. For every deck. Starting to set up the benched one, yeah.
Benched one. That's an interesting way to spread value around your board. I mean, if you put it on the active one and it gets knocked out, you're out of fire energy. If you keep it on the bench, you could just maybe Prime Catcher.
Drawing that rare candy feels a little bad here as the Charizard, because we're probably going to put it on the bottom of the deck with the Iono.
Exactly. But it had to be done. What's our Nest Ball going to grab us?
Rotom. We're probably not attacking this turn, so.
Fair enough. We're going to need like the perfect hand off this Iono, in which case you just be like, I didn't need that Rotom at all. Also refreshing your opponent's side of the board. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see that at all. Granted, you can put down a Charmeleon and gear up for turn 2, but no rare candy.
But this is, of course, exactly why we play the Rotom V, because now we can instant charge instead of just passing.
True enough, it was forward thinking. Okay, that hand is full of options. We should be able next turn to just Ultra Ball Charizard and get going, but we could see that disrupted with a clever little Gust knockout combo. Bye, Cleffa. Go to the discard now.
We have access to a lot of our energies on the Drago side as well.
Exactly. Just a couple just one E-switch would do it, really, with Legacy Star, so the discard's not super full. Our first of conceivably 3 Teal Dances. Okay, evolving the active Regidrago. Dropping a fire. We're going to get probably 2 E-switch.
Yep.
There's one.
Now there's a really brutal world where we find a boss's orders, and then Phantom Dive the Rotom and the Pidgey, and it feels real bad for Charizard.
That's gotta be horrific, especially after having to scoop game 1 to, admittedly, a brick. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd like to see some sauce this game. So we're manifesting good draws for Charizard from here on out. And when I say we're manifesting, I mean that. You better be manifesting right now. I'm talking to you, Nate, specifically.
Noctowl will certainly find us, that boss. And actually, even better, thinking about it now, KOing the Charmeleon and the Pidgey is also another play. It forces them to have
I
the
thought
rare
you
candy.
meant KOing the Charmeleon and the Pidgey. I was just like, I was a step behind you, man.
There's the Rotom as well, is what I was saying, for 3 prizes, but you can wait till later for that. Finding all the E-switches, getting our second Drago ready to go.
Oh, my good. Oh.
This has been the perfect sequencing from Kai.
Every single hand has been used to its maximum efficiency. Like this is a flawless machine at work. Oh, just put some more dragons in the discard. Yeah, that's cool.
Get our second V-Star set up. It's gonna be very, very hard for our Charizard player to come back from this, it feels like.
Cologne? Huh?
Just to get it out of the hand. It's not gonna matter.
Yeah, I guess we don't need a gust to completely wonk out the side of the board. Bye, Duskull. Was nice to know you.
So I don't believe we have Kyurem in the discard yet, right? Oh, we do. Okay, this is rough.
Oh.
Gonna take out the Charmeleon and the
No.
Pidgey and the Duskull.
Oh no. Oh no. Charmeleon's ability does not prevent damage. It only prevents effects. That includes damage counters. So the effect of Kyurem is actually doing damage, so it does not get blocked by the ability. Kind of a weird ruling if you're like learning how effects work. But that's the way it is. Pheasantipity, that the entire side of the board over there is just starving. I mean, this Charizard player just needs something to go right this turn.
Yeah, but even, with the Drago player hasn't used their V-Star yet, there is still the play of Prime Catching the Rotom and then Phantom Diving for the final 3 prizes. Feels pretty rough.
Oh,
Setting into
no.
3 is the way to start,
No.
though.
We need Pheasantipity to come through. Oh no,
Didn't
it's
come
not
through.
happening.
New
Can we
script, just as bad as the first one.
Oh. Now the good news is that Reggie Drago needs to be pulled out of the active, and I haven't seen a Prime Catcher or the Switch card yet, so maybe there's a hope of stalling. And by hope of stalling, I mean there's no hope of stalling. That's absolutely getting drawn off of the Legacy V-Star, but we can pretend.
Yeah.
You can't even attack with that. You need another energy down. This is brutal.
It's a rough one. We get to instant charge, though. Drawing cards is fun.
We do get that. We're gonna need a miraculous comeback for this to happen.
Yeah, with no Duskull setup, no Pidgeot setup, it feels unlikely.
Oof. Can we draw something good? Okay, Force Seal Stone.
That's not bad.
You can work with that next turn.
But there's like a 90% chance the game's over now.
Oh, sure, but it's game 2. We're looking for outs. Super Rod.
Getting back energy, I suppose.
I mean, there have been games where
With a
you
vessel
come
in hand,
back
yeah.
from a Kyurem play that overstretched. It has been done. Will it be done? I don't know, but can it be done? Absolutely.
I think this board setup is like an Olympic gymnast, as they can't overstretch. The V-Star is ready to go on the bench. We just need to take back an energy switch from our V-Star. Or just manually attach it. Even better. Research? Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to guarantee. As long as it's not both in the prizes, which I wouldn't rely on. I would have... Maybe in this game, too, maybe you could have waited and make sure they had it in deck, but what's the point? You don't have a combo.
So our Reggie Drago player moves on, continues to be an extremely strong deck that people need to be ready for.
Yeah, and that sequencing was masterful.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad, Charizard player. That was just your deck not cooperating. Nothing to do with you. And Reggie Drago was out there playing at 150%. So
was about the perfect game from the Drago deck. I don't think it could have been any better.
I mean, you could nitpick, but where are you gonna get with that? Speaking of nitpicking, I'm looking at the Conkeldurr deck that's in first place at the moment. And can I just get a moment to appreciate what nonsense this is?
I'm gonna take a look. Hold on, let's see. We can see together. Everybody in
We can
chat.
look together. We can share a chat. Chat wants to see.
Let's pull this to the right window. There we go. So, Binga from South Korea playing the Conkeldurr. Cloth 2.0.
Cloth at home. Copy of Grant. You never see that every so often. Lets you, from the discard, not as a supporter effect, discard 2 cards from your hand to do an extra 20 damage as a fighting type. One of the interesting cards that lets you have a bonus effect based on where it is. There's not many like it.
Well, so the getting back to hand is only, so the playing it is what does the fighting damage, and then you can discard stuff to get it back. So you can continually play Grant for more damage every turn. But importantly, that 250 number goes to 280, which is enough to take out a V-Star.
Yep, and Gravity Mountain will knock down a stage 2 to 300. So if you could get another 20 down, maybe off of poison or something.
Yeah, the Mochi does it. Yes, this Conkeldurr, if it is afflicted by a condition, it's Gutsy Swing, which normally takes 4 energy. It doesn't take any.
Yeah, don't even have to attach an energy. Beautiful.
So it's Cloth without the need for the double turbos. The same kind of shell here with an added Pidgeot in there somehow.
Yeah, a little 2-2 line. Those rare candies are pulling double time work, and if they get discarded, you just kind of sit there and shake your opponent's hand. But other than that, 2 copies of Thornton because we're being extra fun today.
What have we played against so far?
Ooh.
The 2 losses being to 2 Charizards, which makes sense. But then able to win in top 8 against 1.
Learning from the experience, one of the most valuable things you could do.
And now a rematch against the Ursaluna Iron Valiant, who they defeated earlier in the tournament.
Oh, they're on stream. We could watch them on stream.
Let's
Are they
go
playing?
grab it.
They may be done. They may be done their
see.
game.
I think they should be just starting.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Let's take a little peek in there, because that is the matchup of the century.
We're waiting on the friends list here, so I think there's going to be a challenge sent pretty soon. Let's see.
Let's take a look at our chat.
Yeah. Oh, how's everybody doing?
We have our friend Molly Swag letting us know that Reggie Drago is quite strong, and we're seeing some Zard bricks. I agree. We are seeing some Zard bricks. It has happened.
Demonstrably true that Reggie Drago is strong.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to seeing Conkeldurr versus Blood Moon Ursaluna Iron Valiant. That's just like, you don't get that kind of deck match in Top Cut.
Yeah, nobody's ready for either deck, really.
No, these players have got to be absolutely cooking.
Yeah, we get to see the baby Ursaluna again.
That's true. We didn't get to see a lot of action with the Bolt deck.
In the forefront of things. They have the
and they're actually playing top 4.
Well.
Yeah, they're a little bit ahead of the top 8 crowd.
We're ready. Here we go.
Ooh, I'm so excited about this. Oh my goodness. Chat, sound off who you think will win. Technically speaking, Iron Valiant has weakness, so you could attack for double, but it's not really worth it because you already deal 220. But we'll see. Trolley's coming down to fully kit out the bench with basics. What a great ace spec.
Yeah, playing a lot of people are testing it out in various archetypes. I've certainly seen it in Reggie's. We've seen it. Sometimes Charizard has played it. We've seen it in Snorlax. It's very nice setup. It really gets you started. It prevents you from not having a game, which is always nice.
It's very fresh. And that bench is so jam-packed with goodness. You've got Rotom to instant charge. You've got Sneasel all ready to go. You've got your Brute Bonnet all ready to go. Pidgey's there. Extra backup Conkeldurr. A lot of support stuff, but it's all good. Jet to the discard. We're going to pick something out.
Squawk. We definitely need some more going on here. This
Yeah,
deck
some of
does
the
have
good-
the ability to attack early and often.
Yeah, you could sometimes win a game as early as turn 1 going first with a couple of creative uses of Iron Valiant. However, this time, it looks like that's not the plan. There's a copy of Surfer in there?
Yeah. It's a switch that draws you cards. It's huge.
I feel like I have to reread this. I cannot be the only one in chat who's going, what? What does that do again? I'm glad you knew. That's nutty.
Oh, so an extra potential activation of our Tachyon bits from Iron Valiant, as well as drawing cards. You know, it's a pretty good sport to play in this type of archetype.
Absolutely. And Latias EX, the new Surging Sparks card that gives you free retreat for all your basics. That's just a match made in heaven for this archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to get a retreat into Iron Valiant number 1.
It's our first 20 damage. Go on the benched Timber. And we're going to zoom this. This Blood Moon is going to take out the active with the Jet Energy attachment.
Yep. I mean, if there's a way to do it, this is the way to do it. So your opponent has a pretty full hand of 9 cards, but what's that going to get them? Are we going to see a Squawk ability? Okay, we're going to see Squawk ability get played. I'm sitting here going, are you using that? Is that happening? It is in fact happening.
Both
Right,
research back in. Yeah, this is going to be a good Squawk. They're fine with the fightings being in the discard as well. There's 2 copies of Lana's Aid in the deck.
Yep, and that energy retrieval in hand as well.
Back to hand to attach to another moon later, Blood Moon.
Okay, Mad Bite, Chomp, and Timber Falls. I feel like I can make a pun with that really easily.
This bear is just attacking a construction worker.
He's just a kid. He's just a kid carrying a giant wooden spike thing.
He's doing a job. You know, he's at work.
Isn't that illegal? Isn't he too young for that?
Not here.
Pokestop discards nothing useful, but that's okay. We got the turn 1 Precious Trolley, which is already a fantastic start to any game.
Yeah, promoting the Pidgey, perhaps hoping to evolve into Pidgeot that has the free retreat.
Yeah, I can see it. You definitely want the Pidgeot out in ASAP because you can start searching, start having a maybe damage sponge kind of thing going on. Because 60 HP is so little, Iron Valiant could just knock you out like that.
Yeah, we do need a lot of setup for Conkeldurr here. We need to first find the candy into the Conkeldurr, and then we need to find the capsule for the Brute Bonnet.
Town store.
That finds one of the pieces. And actually,
Yeah,
the
we're going for
Sealstone,
Sealstone.
we're going to get into the Pidgeot.
Oh, what's happening?
The question then
You know
is
that-
if we can find everything we need.
7 card in hand, I feel like it's possible. You're going to need a rare candy for Pidgeot and Conkeldurr, and you're going to need the ensuing 2 Pokemon, and you're going to need a tool for Brute Bonnets. That's 5 cards you need to find.
So here
Candy
will be
number
the
1.
Pidgeot.
For the bird.
Pidgeot, of course, gets us one of the pieces that we don't have with the quick search ability. If they
Okay.
can find the attack this turn, that's going to be really devastating.
Yeah, this would be the time. I mean, if you can immediately start that chain of attacks, this is ooh, okay.
There's old Kronk.
We're getting close. What's that, Thornton?
Thornton, the Rotom
Okay,
away.
good.
Leave a single prize bench.
Do we have the ability to poison?
Ooh.
I'm a little worried.
Retreating. Into the Conk. Okay.
Do they have it?
They've got it. Come on.
They've got to have it. Do not pass in a situation like this. Do not pass the turn. Ah. Oh
no.
no, they did. I said specifically don't pass the turn, and they passed the turn anyway.
The problem here is that Mad Bite certainly can easily get the KO on this Conkeldurr. And they
Yep.
have the second one, I suppose, ready for next turn since they were able to evolve into Girder, but
That's good. Like if you were gonna be able to attack, that's the best you could have done with that turn. Especially getting the Rotom out of the way. Good stuff.
they don't even need to use any Tachyon bits. It's just enough damage already.
Yep. Yeah, that's rough because you've burned one of your rare candies, and you really need those rare candies for the duration of the game. But they did their best.
This turn we can
Right.
definitely attack. You can quick search for the Conkeldurr, you can town store for the capsule.
Assuming nothing's prized, I think we'll be able to make it.
It's
Also,
such
we
a
already
s-
have access.
Yeah,
Oop,
you go
go
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, with 2 prizes down, we already have access to tools like Counter Catcher or any other kind of comeback cards.
Right.
And for our Conkeldurr player, those options are... Let's check that deck list again. Okay, there is one Counter Catcher, so we could see a sort of come from behind, sneak around with one of the 3 Iono as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be such a closer game too because both of these decks' primary attacker is a 1 prize. So there's going to be quite often, a lot of times, just a single prizer in the active and hard to get around that. So there might be more knockouts than normal over the course of the game.
It's going to come down to gust effects, and every gust effect right now is another 2 prizes. Okay, there's Conkeldurr. You've seen it, you've lived it, you've loved it, and now you're going to get the 2 prize version. Boss's orders is that gust. Going for the Latias rather than the Valiant is probably smart because now your opponent's going to need more switch cards than if you just knocked out the Valiant because they already have 2.
Finds a second capsule for later. Gutsy swing, 220 damage, just enough. Knock out the Latias.
Yep, there's no replacement Timber. However, all you need to do is use a Thornton and it's back. So don't discount that bench state. This is a very early game setup heavy deck, but once it's done, a little bit of maintenance with Pidgeot, it's over. Kind of like Lugia.
Night Stretcher gets the Latias back. We want to have those free retreating to get this Iron Valiant out of the active without using our switch cards. Where's this 20 damage going?
Oh, there's an attempt to knock out Pheasantipity going on here.
I think we need one more switch to do it, but it's close. The Mad Bite is 100 damage plus 30 for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. Looks like we're going to take out the Conkeldurr first, but setting up the Fez for another turn.
Yep, just 20 damage on the Conkeldurr is enough, as we saw from that first turn. So 10 was not, 30 is too many, but 30 is just enough, actually. So 3 to 4 game is very close. Being forced to take a 1 prize knockout does interfere with your prize map tremendously. They probably would have preferred to be able to just gust knock out Pheasantipity. So Conkeldurr has some chances to come back. You just got to find him.
It's hard needing to evolve to that stage too. It's the big difference between these decks is that Blood Moon Ursaluna is a basic Pokemon. You can just replay it if it gets knocked out.
Yep, just grab the entries back.
A lot of setup done for Conkeldurr.
Yeah, and the other reason to put the 20 damage on the Pheasantipity is that that's your most probable Thornton target here. So all you need to do is just, and then it's a Conkeldurr. You already got 20 damage on it. Perfect. So 2 for 1 special. Benching that Pecharunt.
It's not quite enough damage to get anything done here, it feels like.
No, it's good for softening up in the turn, but other than that,
What do we find from the Arvin? Let's see. Yeah, it feels like that first Conkeldurr knockout was the started the slope going downward for our Conkeldurr player. Missing that first attack and then also, losing that rare candy. Conkeldurr's in the discard.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a really good setup, and then it just didn't get to fire off as strong.
Yeah, it's gonna
The
be
trade-off for not needing to use energy is quite impressive.
just the poison damage here. Petron adds another 5 damage counters from poison. Sneasler adds another 2, so it's going to be 8 total.
You think that's enough?
It's more than half.
Surely.
It's more than half, but...
Yeah, if they don't retreat this turn with their 50 billion switch outs, they're going to get you a knockout.
You can also just KO, and then you take only 3 damage from poison.
Very true. The order of attack of operations is very cool. The Surfer will not get played this game, I predict.
Next game, though.
Next game for sure. Next game for sure. Well, where are their energy? I guess they're on the discard.
I saw a little Cornerstone Mask Ogrepon in there.
Oh yeah, that's been kicking around. Although Conkeldurr not having an ability makes it not great for this matchup, it is a good piece of spice for other matches. I bet that'd be devastating in Charizard. Okay, what's that doing in the hand there? You need to discard that? Yeah, you need to discard that. Okay.
Catcher switches, yeah. It's gonna be
that'll do it.
As well as healing our bear. I mean, it was the Petron was always getting knocked out, but this is going to be just so much good setup for the Ursaluna.
Absolutely.
Putting damage anywhere so that it could KO almost anything on the bench other than the Pidgeot at the moment. We're going to take 2 prizes from Fez.
Weak to fighting, which is just so unintuitive, but it works.
Yeah, it's the old fighting dark psychic trio. Doesn't happen often in the card game, but...
Not anymore. Now we're doing grass. Okay, this Timber has got to just lock in because there is so much happening on the other side of the board that if they can't secure the bag, it's over. They've got 9 cards to do it with. They've got a Pidgeot to help out. They've got a Town Store. They just need to grab another rare candy and probably pray a little bit.
It is kind of a substantial knockout if they are able to find it on the Ursaluna.
That's true. We know from our side of the field that there's no energy or energy finding cards in hand. But maybe you can get one off the research.
Problem is you can't leave the Ursaluna in hand and research at the same time.
Exactly. Now, there are Night Stretchers, and they are in the deck, so it's not out of the question to just Night Stretcher it back up. Okay, there's that candy. There's that Conkeldurr.
We are going to find the knockout. This could be the swing.
Do you say Conkeldurr or Conkeldurr?
I have always said Conkeldurr.
Okay. I just interrupted you entirely to ask that.
I mean, it's an important question.
Conkeldurr sounds fun. Conkeldurr sounds more like, I don't know, aggressive.
At any rate, Gutsy Swing gets the knockout.
It's pretty gutsy. I give him that. Okay, another 10 down. The extra poison damage does not exactly hurt the Blood Moon Ursaluna's case.
Oh, they have the big bear in here too. That's another possible play.
Yeah, although it takes 2 energy right now.
Yeah,
so.
not right now,
But in another turn, oh yeah. We're going to eat good.
That's the plan here. We only need 1 prize, but...
There's no way they'll play Surfer. There's no way they'll play Surfer. You know, I wouldn't sniff at a Pokestop right now. I mean, you can use that, maybe get an energy retrieval. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. This feels like a sequencing puzzle, just looking at the hand.
So switching in, Tachyon Bits, putting damage all over the bench. There's nothing that could be KO'd just this turn from Tachyon Bits alone, so...
Pheasantipity?
There's not space.
What are you going to attack with?
I guess just researching it away.
Oh, it's true enough.
Every Pokemon gets a few damage counters. But now we can't
I
Lana's
don't see
Aid
any
this
defeat of
turn.
energy. Okay, that Pokestop, if you used it, would completely deck you out. So I can see why they didn't.
This is, I suppose, fine, though. You have everything in hand to be able to knock out whatever next turn. You play Lana's Aid, you put down the Blood Moon Ursaluna, you jet energy to the active.
Yeah, that's correct. You can't get too greedy here.
Is there an Iono in our Conkeldurr deck is the real question.
There are. Are we going to see them? Maybe.
You have to assume. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand.
Yeah, but even if you do, the big Blood Moon Ursaluna is one of those 3 cards, so there's at least a 30% chance, if not better, of drawing it off that lone Iono, and then what do? Because you've just lost 2 prizes.
I'm going to take out the Latias again.
That's good, because now that Blood Moon Ursaluna play is not possible because you need a jet energy in order, or switch in order to retreat, and you're only going to get to draw 1 card. You top deck the other one, but you gotta get out of the active.
This is crazy that it's going to be this close in this game. It felt like our the Blood Moon was just so far ahead. But running out of steam, not having a backup attacker.
No, but an Iono could save the day. It's a great comeback card. I'm glad it still works. I mean, even with Pheasantipity being so prevalent, you could still make a comeback with Iono. But it's just
it
used to be more devastating.
If your opponent needs to leave bench space for an attacker, and they can't play Fez, Iono still works.
Yep. Okay, they left the hand intact, so
yeah,
I don't see how they make it out of this one. You could just, yeah.
Get all your energy back in hand. Slap it down with the ability from Blood Moon Ursaluna. Battle Hardened. Jet to the active, and that is the game. Number 1.
Whew, that was very close.
What was the top deck there? It was another stretcher?
Yep. Another Night Stretcher.
So the Iono to 1
long.
would have done it. Because they couldn't have drawn the 2 pieces that they need. All right, that's game number 1 to Conkeldurr. Oh, no, to Blood Moon Ursaluna, sorry.
Blood Moon Ursaluna.
They're both fighting types. There's same colors, you know?
2 different 1-price fighting type decks is not typical in this format. And here they are in top 4. Excellent, masterful work.
And one of them is in the finals.
That's true.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. While they're playing their match, across the rest of the field, we have in top 4 Bubblekai, and with the Reggie Drago that we saw earlier, we're waiting on a result from a matchup between Gardevoir and Raging Bolt, so that could go on a while. I suspect Gardevoir will win because that tends to be Guardy favored, but we'll let them get on with that while we see who's going to go to finals.
Mick, did you see the name of the deck for our Blood Moon player?
You know, I normally comment. I was leaving that one for you this time. Ooh, who do you start with? These are not.
They're both
neither
bad.
of these are your preferred starters. Large Bear it is.
Yeah, it's a little harder to KO.
Yeah, but I mean, it does have more retreat, but you have Latias in there, so it's not a concern.
Yeah. Although I suppose if the Conkeldurr is attacking, it'll get knocked out anyway because it's 250 plus 10 from poison. So.
Exactly, and weakness. Let's not skip on weakness.
Yeah, that is true.
And there's the Pidgey. No turn 1 Precious Trolley so far, but that could change. And you can get the Precious Trolley any turn.
Yeah.
Unlike Battle VIP Pass.
And a lot of these setup Pokemon you need are fine just being played down that turn as well. The Brute Bonnet, exactly. The Sneasler. You'll need to set up the Timbers, but just a charge. Play down a Pidgey instant charge for the turn. Not the best first turn. And again, on the other side, Rotom V also has weakness to fighting.
Yeah, this is not ideal. However, you're going to have plenty of cards to discard and attach, and you have Squawkabilly, so not too concerning. Not too concerning at all. Putting all those energy in the discard to be able to retrieve them later. Thinning that deck, getting all the value you can out of this hand, and then discarding it completely. Woohoo! Okay, and you still have your supporter, This is very, very good setup because you'll be able to research, get even more cards. Just draw that whole deck.
Finds the Latias to be able to retreat this heavy bear, like you were saying. Question is what we can get set up here, though.
What are they going to discard? Okay, there we go. Grab our Iron Valiant, maybe? Yep. It's kind of weird. I mean, I don't see what Greninja really does for you, because you draw 2 cards, but you also need all those bench spaces, so you just don't get you don't get the same utility out of it as maybe a Gardevoir that's constantly discarding energy.
Here's the bear and 1 energy, which is not quite enough yet. 2 Iron Valiants in the prizes. Oof.
That's disgusting. That's wrong. That's not supposed to do that. That's like a 1% chance of that happening.
Yeah, we're one switch card away from knocking out this Pidgey with Tachyon Bits as well, which feels a little sad.
Okay.
All the energy's gone into the discard.
Exactly.
How many total are we playing?
Not many. Let's see. The exact number. Precisely 9. 6 fighting, 3 jet.
Not a whole lot. We're going to put 40 on the Pidgey. That's going to be the end of the turn.
Choosing not to bench down the Ursaluna and get that attachment. Very interesting.
Yeah, it can be whenever. You'd rather it not be KO'd, right? So you can hold all the pieces in hand and just wait.
Exactly. And if you get Iono'd from a 5-card hand to a 6-card hand, you're already going to get 6 new cards. So you'll make it work.
This Arven's going to be pretty powerful here. We can get the Forest Seal Stone for any card we want. Perhaps
and then the Precious Trolley for any piece.
That's true. Yeah, the double.
Or the rare candy, right? The rare candy is good.
Depends on if we have the Pidgeot in hand or not.
Yeah, Arven for an ace spec is quite a good combo in just about any deck.
Yeah, we've seen lots of Arven for Prime Catcher or Irida for Prime Catcher in the past.
Indeed. Okay, I saw the Seal Stone.
It was rare candy, Seal Stone.
Yep.
Just has the Pidgeot in hand.
Quick search will not be stopped. That was actually a really quick search. Good job. There it is.
Finds the trolley. Now we're getting set up.
Let's get those basics out.
Timber, Sneasler, Brute Bonnet. What's the 4th? Second Timber?
Second. Well, we already got Rotom. So, yeah, why not? Yep.
Now we are ready. And that evolving into the Pidgeot was necessary here. It was only 20 damage away from a knockout on the bench from Tachyon Bits.
Exactly. That was good sequencing, and that was correct sequencing. Take notes, Conkeldurr believers.
The next time you are playing one of these 2 decks against the other, which definitely will happen.
Yeah, this is a frequent matchup. You should expect to see this at all of your tournaments, every game. Yep. Binding Mochi. Okay, we're gonna get some of the good stuff this turn. Oh, we get an instant charge to end the turn, leaving the Timber afloat and active. It is not going to be able to do any damage that way.
Mochi doesn't really matter in this matchup, but you're going to KO anything anyway. But we do get to start this bear attacking.
Yeah, being able to draw into that jet energy is quite literally perfect. So let's take that knockout. Mad Bite.
Looking very similar to the first game in terms of the
I'm
pacing.
The pattern.
Yeah. Finds the heavy ball. That'll get us a 3rd Iron Valiant. So that's actually a pretty nice pull from the prizes.
True. Just we need some bench space for it, and there isn't any. Because that bench is
Well, they're going to boss the Latias this turn, and then there's going to be a space.
That seems familiar. Okay, quick search. Last one was pretty quick. I think this one should be fairly speedy.
Whatever piece you need to set up the Conkeldurr.
Exactly. This is the hard-hitting gameplay you all signed up for.
I mean, I love this. This is right up my alley.
Frankly, I have not seen a match like this in the Top Cut in many weeks. And we've casted many great weeks of this show. Like, I can't say we've had a Conkeldurr Iron Valley matchup before. Even once. Like, probably even in the entire ladder. Let alone Top Cut. Poison's down. That bear is going to sleep. It is hibernating. Do we have another Timber?
Okay, there's our nest ball. Oh, Fez instead.
No, we're going for Fezandipity. Draw some cards, maybe Thornton.
Little risky. Yeah, the Thornton, I guess, could bail out in a bad situation.
We just got to check that script. We just got to flip that script.
It is 11 cards in hand versus 2, so you feel okay on the side of Conkeldurr at the moment.
Okay, here's Arvin. Generally a good setup.
Gutsy swing, take out the only bear. Well, the only one prize bear that can attack at the moment.
It is the winter and the bears are going to bed. Okay, promoting Valiant. How do you work your way out of this one? You need to find a Blemmer or Ursaluna, but you can't use the nest ball for it. Okay, there's a Pokestop. You could do a lot with a Pokestop. Like
discard 3 cards.
I cannot have imagined a worse 3 cards to have gotten rid of, except for the Fezandipity, which at least you still have access to.
Now our
maybe
bench
a sequencing thing where you
is full.
First, but that is not ideal.
You're just accepting your opponent taking 2 prizes next turn because your whole bench is 2 prizers.
There's just really no other outs other than to just keep whittling away with the Iron Valiant. We were talking this deck up, and now all of a sudden, they don't want to come to the table.
Yeah, every ball gets the 3rd Valiant, but there's no space.
That's rough. Oh. When you have limited options like that for just having 2 cards in hand, that's probably as good as you can do. I mean, being able to stop and Fezandipity at the same time are both great, but they didn't have enough spice. Thornton's coming in.
Thornton the Rotom away. Set up a second Conkeldurr.
Oh, that's strong. Okay, Ultra Ball. Discarding Grant. And a Pidgey. Seeking out another Conkeldurr.
I suppose the play here is hoping that between the poison and Tachyon bits, you could knock out this first Conkeldurr without needing the bear.
Correct.
We're still a little ways off of that.
Yeah, we're gonna need some kind of miracle to come out of here. Now, granted, in the late game, we'll be able to use the large Blood Moon Ursaluna, but there's Town Store. Pokestop is out. They are on a very rapid clock to close this game out.
Yes. On a clock and losing resources. We only have access to 1 Tachyon bits now. Still
That's
can't
rough,
attack
buddy.
with the EX bear.
Okay, we got a Blood Moon Ursaluna. That's good. We need to flip that script. Okay, I consider that script flipped.
I don't know. That feels like the same
Iona will
script.
be able to shred your opponent's hand down to 3. That's a good start.
What else is prized? Lana's 8 is prized. 1 fighting's prized. Into the bear, Iona to 2 or to 3. Research instead.
Research instead. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, they
that's
get the
workable.
knockout. They get the knockout.
Could even Prime Catcher for it.
But it's just immediately returned by this other Conkeldurr that's set up.
So just take the 2 prizes on maybe Fezandipity? I wonder if there's a way to knock out Pidgeot here. Probably not.
With enough counters, they could have, but they would have had to decide that earlier.
Yeah.
As it stands, well, actually, as it stands right now, it's 40. If they had put the last Tachyon bits, it would have been enough.
Yeah, but I mean, resistance?
It's still enough.
Okay. I'm glad someone has the calculator out.
Because it's 30 for each. It's 100 plus 30 per damage counter. So at 60, it would have been 100. It would have been 206. 280. Minus
and then
30
with
is
resistance 250,
250
yeah, that
per
would have been
damage.
enough.
But taking out the Conkeldurr is important. The sad thing is that the bear is guaranteed just going away next turn.
Yeah. Would have been a kind of a weird play, too, because
okay.
he had to use the Prime Catcher, then the Jet Energy.
Gonna leave the bear in play. Gonna knock out the Pheasantipity instead. With the
That's gonna hurt.
backup Timber. I just assuming that you're gonna get a Conkeldurr on the following turn for the last prize.
Mm-hmm. Okay, new active Pokemon. There's the Conkeldurr. There's the poison damage, and there's the Pheasantipity deciding to have a silent night.
It's incredible amount of damage.
It's just disgusting. Complete brutality. That's like 500 damage. Those are numbers we're not accustomed to seeing.
Yeah.
Those are numbers that they printed on those joke promo cards they said would never be real or tournament legal. It's just devastating. On top of the poison damage. I mean, that bird has had enough.
Yeah. Gutsy swing. 500 damage.
Oh, that is gutsy indeed.
Yeah, all the Pidgeot or Conkeldurr player, I suppose, needs is find a rare candy or the Conkeldurr. Should be able to sweep the next turn here. What can we do with this Blood Moon EX?
Well, you can take an attack. Although, truth be told, it's...
We can knock out the Pidgeot.
Yeah, but you kind of need to get the Conkeldurr because that's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
No Iono. We need an Iono. This is not good. This is not good. There's no way to get that Iono out with the flip the script already. Oh.
It's going to take
that
out the
many cards
Conkeldurr.
in hand?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not happening.
It feels almost certain that in the 14 is either a rare candy or a Conkeldurr or a Night Stretcher. There's so many options.
And the quick search on top of that. That's just it's happening. Chat, it's happening. I can feel it.
There it is. Even in hand. Doesn't need the Pidgeot.
No.
Game 2 to Conkeldurr.
Bonk.
1-1. Incredible
Gutsy
matchup.
swings.
I'm so excited this is here. This is great.
I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, this is we don't get to see gameplay like this ever. And they're playing at a high level as well. I mean, the sequencing going on is super complex because of all the different interconnected pieces for that Conkeldurr. Meanwhile, Blood Moon Ursaluna's got to like keep track of which switches go where, and that's kind of like unusual math if you're used to just doing, I'll do one retreat per turn. I don't have to think about switching. But most of the time, plenty of decks just don't even run switch cards because they expect to just get knocked out. Meanwhile, you have like the Switch Olympics over there. I just saw the name. I just saw the deck. I missed that the first time.
Pretty good.
Well, it's only 3 games instead of 5, but that said, I do think we have a real and true game 3 for who's in the finals here. I mean, there's no predicting who's going to win this.
Yep. Both decks want to go second as they can quite easily attack on the first turn of the game.
Okay, starting the big bear again. Rather that than lose the ability, so I can see it. Worked last game, it'll work again maybe. Well, it didn't work last game actually. I lied.
I should say Conkeldurr cannot attack. I'm so used to the Cloth that can attack immediately. You do need to evolve the Conkeldurr. Starting the fish and the bear again. This is a bad start from both players.
Yeah. It's workable, but it's not ideal. Managing to probably get that Timber off the top deck. Ultra Ball. Maybe for Rotom?
That feels like the play. Although then you have 2 bench spaces filled up with guys.
But you have 2 Thornton as well.
Let's find the Rotom. We need cards. Instant charge. We'll see what the first turn here can be from Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Okay, we gotta switch. We gotta research. Otherwise,
not the best.
Yeah, let's get that Iron Valiant out. No Nest Ball for Squawkabilly yet. We're just gonna do a little Retreat Rooney and 20 damage. Tachyon Bits. Onto the fish. Okay.
Need a little bit of damage for the Mad Bite to be able to knock out.
Yep. We can get rid of a lot of energy with these vessels. There's one left in deck. We can pull it out of there, thin that deck even more if we felt so inclined. Choosing to grab the Squawkabilly. Extend that turn out just a little farther. Using the vessel, maybe?
You need to draw into the energy to attack.
Or you could just draw into a energy retrieval resource. Okay, there's an Iron Valiant. Switching around.
Tachyon Bits. The Timber.
Yep. Okay, there's a Pokestop. Oh, that was fresh. Nice stretcher action. Very good. Unfortunately, there's just not enough energy in the hand
to be able to attack yet. Yeah. It's really close. It concealed your jet away? Are you going to Night Stretcher and then conceal that?
Surely not. Surely not.
Okay.
No. I mean, you needed something, but there's just so few energy in deck. I don't agree with this.
And the Jets are, without Latios down, the Jets are that more important to get the Blood Moon Ursaluna into the active.
Mm-hmm. Or to get the big Blood Moon Ursaluna out of the active. Okay, going for Switch and a Rare Candy. Well, off of the Pokestop, in which you don't have many choices, but that's not the point I wanted to make.
Do we find? Yeah, we find the trolley. What's going to be my next question? Arvin for trolley and Forest Sealstone. This is a very powerful deck for Arvin. Feels like you're getting so much value off of both halves of Arvin, which isn't always true.
Okay, there's the trolley. There's the basics. Where's the long bar? Okay. Setting up again.
This certainly feels like a matchup where this isn't always the case, but Trolley feels so much more powerful than Prime Catcher in this matchup.
Absolutely, especially because you're just going to do 250 to whatever it is, no matter what. It's less resource intensive to just drop a Gravity Mountain and go than it is to start worrying about, do I have to get 3 more Nest Balls, 2 more Poffins, and a Partridge to Pear Tree?
Rare Candy? Conkeldurr is here.
I guess instead of a Partridge and a Pear Tree, it's a Pidgeot with a Rare Candy.
Yes. That's a lot for day one of Christmas, though. It's a big present for day one.
Not only day one, 12 days after that, you have to do it again? It's the season of evolving birds.
So that first Iron Valiant being knocked out. Feels a little rough here. Another switch card's not going to do a lot. Script and Pokestop have to do a lot of heavy lifting this turn.
Okay.
All 4 switch cards in hand is just not helpful.
It just doesn't even look like there's 4 switch cards because they're all stacked, but it's 4. You're gonna switch if you want to switch. Oh,
you can't. You can't. No.
You can't. No. Oh, I can't keep looking at this. No, they're gonna do it again. You could have just Ultra Balled. Oh, I'm hurting. I'm hurting desperately. What do you even do here?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know you can make. You could have Night Stretchered for an energy, but that would have been defeating. That would have defeated the point.
You cry.
I guess if you have 4 switch cards, you don't have to worry about discarding all of your switch outs, but you kind of still need the third attachment.
You need Lana. Okay.
Okay. I was a little worried with the Surfer putback. I was like,
There's no fighting
This
in
is-
hand. There's no bear. Oh man.
my blood pressure. I can't be doing this, man.
Okay, I like this though. I like this. You strand the Brute Bonnet. It has 3 retreat.
Okay, we're gonna put damage wherever we feel like it. And we're gonna pass the turn. I can't watch this. I can't watch another Jet Energy get concealed cards away. Please knock out the Greninja. Just put me out of
they
my
had
misery.
the switch in hand. No.
I did ask for that specifically. So I apologize for being a little hater again.
Here comes the bird.
We've been waiting for that Pidgeot to come out. There she is. She's beauty, she's grace. She's on the bench, saving face.
She finds the boss's orders, is what she does.
That's absolutely what she does. And she looks good doing it.
Oh, it's in hand. Doesn't even need it. What, now we have to draw Lana's Aid, but even then it's not enough because now you can quick search for half of the next Conkeldurr.
Okay, poison down. Gutsy swing. That bird is just on life support. Like, Pheasantipity has been
Not had a great
bird.
match. That's kind of its lot in life at this moment, though.
That's true. What is your purpose? You draw your opponent 2 prize cards.
And then get knocked out, yeah.
And then get picked up and you do it again. You gotta admire that never say quit attitude. Just
doesn't give
always
up. It
got
keeps
picked.
coming back, certainly.
Indeed. Tachyon Bits.
When
We
he
are
is
half
not.
the way there.
Yep.
I own it too. You need a plan, that's the plan. Okay, Latias.
Bear with no energy.
Flip that script. That is not.
Lana's Aid for next turn.
No, this isn't happening. Okay, we have a switch in hand. That's good. That was actually fantastic.
Is it? It's not enough yet, right?
Maybe you discard I think you discard the heavy ball, right? Okay, research is fine.
Yeah, they're all in the discard.
Just just circling them with the mouse. Ah! At least there's a switch card in hand, so you could choose not to play down the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Oh, that is just
Third
that is
retrieval
just
in the prizes.
taunting. The good news is that you could take a knockout with the big Ursaluna. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just playing cards for fun, you know?
They're just gonna promote the Pidgeot. And then you can't take can't take any prize cards. Okay, they've promoted the Timber apparently.
Well, I don't think there was a way to get a prize at all that turn.
No, you could attack with Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Oh, never mind. That was misinformation.
We need more energy. Maybe 6 fighting isn't enough.
Okay. I mean, there's the rare candy. There's the Ultra Ball just casually off the Pokestop. That's disgusting. Quick search.
Should be it.
Probably for a boss, and then that's the game.
Yeah.
That's just a really good Pokestop draw.
Really could not hope for anything better, to be honest.
No, I mean, let's just get the 2 resources you desperately need for free. Complete tomfoolery.
I've been reading a lot of people thinking about next rotation and what the game will be like at that point because we're losing so many tools such as this Pokestop. It's going to be an interesting time in not a short while, but not too far away either.
Okay, there's the Conkeldurr, and yeah.
Boss's orders. Take my hand.
Real big, where do we go from here?
Thornton.
Thornton? Sir! Or ma'am. Okay. 250. Bag secured. I don't see a way that Bloodmoon Ursaluna wins this.
They can get a prize.
6-1. Like the Iono's in the discard. It's not happening.
One prize is better than 0.
Okay, there's not even, you can't even like boss stall stick the mushroom in the active because your deck is out of cards and your opponent is not. Like it's just not happening. This is literally unwinnable. This is literally unwinnable. If you could find a way to win from this, like you've won the lottery because it's just not happening. Oh, wait a minute. Are they gonna gust and then knock out the mushroom? Did they find an out with the last jet energy? No, surely not. Surely not. There's no way. This is never gonna work. I mean, that is the only out left though. If this magically works,
yeah,
I'll be impressed.
Now, of course, they need to find another group on it and capsule to be able to attack with Gutsy Swing.
Quick search can get half that equation. It's just who's gonna be able to secure the other half. Probably a Pokestop can get you either a Night Stretcher or a Nustball or a Town Store. Never mind. That's the game. That's the game. Yeah, there it is.
Never didn't have it.
Was it prized? No, it was not. There. Yeah, that's it. Letting them play it out instead of auto conceding is at least, that's good sportsmanship. But into the discard.
We've got a Conkeldurr in finals.
Conkeldurr in finals. They came, they saw, they Conkeldurred.
Incredible.
And they pulled it to 3 games. I mean, that was not easy.
All right. That's amazing. I'm so happy. Single prize fighting.
I can't believe he was here for this.
Conkeldurr in the finals. Going up against one of either Reggie, Drago, or Gardevoir. Just on the other half.
Yeah, that game's going on quite a while.
Well, it's the new one. It has just begun.
Still. Someone commented in Korean, Great Glacier.
It was our Conkeldurr player is from Korea.
But what does Great Glacier mean?
It's a great question.
Maybe like cool as ice or something.
Let us see here. All right, we got just back-to-back-to-back action here. Jumping into the other side of our top 4. This is Cappador cards up against... I've lost my Bubble Kai, who we saw earlier on the Reggie Drago.
All right.
Familiar names, familiar decks.
Yeah, but one of them will move on to face Conkeldurr, so we will have a spicy finals. And seeing as at least one of these players is streaming, there's a chance that our finals will be streamed this time. I love to see it.
If you want to see more Pokemon, I think we're rooting for Drago in this matchup.
Exactly, and Gardevoir's fairly set up, but it's definitely anyone's game here. Having a Zard stuck in the active is terrible, but Prime Catcher is in hand, so you just need something to attack with. And there's an E-Switch, so you could attack with Mew if you absolutely had to.
That's true. Although, would it be... How much damage does Slap do? Is it 30? I feel like it's not, right? Yeah.
I think it's 20. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're Prime Catchering the...
yeah, sure.
You just pick your target.
Okay, we're going to spend our V-Star here, looks like.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're going to probably restart first. See if we can get another E-Switch. Nope. We could attach that and just not negate having to use the Legacy V-Star at all, but seeing as that's your only Reggie Drago in play, hopefully you have something to follow it up with.
You could just... you could Legacy Star this turn.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could Ultra Ball for it now, or Ultra Ball for it next turn, or you could Legacy Star now. Sorry, I'm stepping over you. You're saying the exact same thing, but you're saying it better.
This is the play. However, Apex Dragon.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, they're gonna get Trifrosted.
Okay, so we take out the monkey and the Screamtail and the Curlia. Feels pretty good.
Yep. Now, granted, Gardevoir's still there, so it's definitely a risky play.
Yes.
But that's gotta feel good.
And it is losing all of our energy on our active.
Mm-hmm. Now you have to manually attach one of that Pheasantipity as well, because it's not a psychic type. So that means no replacement Monkey Dory this turn.
Right. Don't really need the damage this time, because a Miracle Force is enough damage to knock out this Reggie Drago as it is.
Very true.
Pretty powerful turn here for Reggie Drago.
Yeah, going from 6 to 3 prizes. Anytime you do that, whew. I mean, you can smell the smoke burning.
Cold. Frost. I don't know. There's something about there. Sometimes there's steam off of ice, you know?
What? Okay.
Yeah, like when it's subliming or sublimating, like dry ice.
No, it's not. If it's sublimating, it's not steaming.
But
well, I guess technically it is.
Yeah, right.
You're right. It is. Well, it's like it's not. I'm sorry. This is complicated for no reason. You are correct. When it sublimates, it evaporates into the higher state of matter. So let's just casually top deck the Reggie Drago we need to secure the Legacy V-Star. I'm sure that's fair and balanced.
The unfair stamp being unfair for Capador in this case. Does find the energy, though, to manually retreat.
That's true.
Counter catcher.
Oh, maybe we're going to get stuck in the active?
Stalling here. Yeah, we can Screamtail. What are we doing with the Screamtail damage here? Is there a charm in hand? Not yet.
If there's not, they might be going for a 2-hit KO. Because 160 is enough to knock out the Reggie Drago, so...
Yeah, but Prime Catcher is in the discard, and there hasn't been our Legacy Star yet.
Yeah, but considering you just unfair stamped them to 2, there's no way they would have top decked the Ultra Ball or the Reggie Drago. That's silly.
Oh yeah, the 160 is exactly enough. I was thinking this wasn't going to be a knockout on the damaged V-Star.
Nope, it is. And they're going to secure 2 prizes that way. Screamtail's attack, Roaring Scream. There's a lot of roaring going on for those ancient Pokemon.
Yeah. They hadn't invented just talking yet, so.
Yeah. It's okay, let it all out.
Just roaring.
Big feelings. Super Rod.
Get some energies back in the deck.
Pretty good.
We do need a way to set up the new V-Star for attacking, which isn't guaranteed, I don't think.
Yeah, not yet. We'll be able to use Legacy V-Star to pick up at least one E-Switch. But we really like a second one. Good use of the Super Rod, good sequencing. We have another opportunity to Teal Dance.
We also need to find the fire that's now in the deck with these 6 cards. Okay, finds it
There
off
it is.
restart. Incredible.
Let's just casually have it.
We need a lot from this Legacy Star. Gonna throw away the fire?
Wait, are they discarding it? Okay, they're going for the Pheasantipity. Yeah.
It's still scary.
For sure, but there's at least 2 more in there.
That's what I was going to check, actually. Some Drago players have been running 2 fire lately, but this is 7 grass, 3 fire.
Okay, Earthen Vessel, that's pretty good. But we still need a way to get that last energy down. Because you have to get the Prime Catcher to switch out. You're out of Teal Dances.
There's one E-Switch in the deck.
You can still attack with Mew this turn if you don't commit to... Okay, never be committed. What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they passing the turn?
This is fine.
I mean, you could still do the E-switch play after the attachment was committed, but they're not. They're not going to do it.
This lets us perhaps get back Prime Catcher E-switch and manually attach the third or the second grass.
Correct. And without a Bravery Charm, there's no way to take that knockout. So Legacy Star is still going. Just you better be confident there's not going to be any HP boosting stuff on that Scream Tail.
Would a charm be enough? It would get us what?
Another 40 to work with. So at 100 it'd be about like
240.
200. Yeah.
Could knock out an Ogerpon.
No, you can't. Terra.
Could knock out a Mew. So.
You can knock out a Mew.
Or the Pheasantipity.
Remember when people played Lux Cape?
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
It's in the quad Mimikyu deck has luxurious capes. Try to get through a 170 health Mimikyu. Be my guest. Attaching the dark to Pheasantipity. Would let it retreat, but is there any chance they are looking for a Cruel Arrow later, just manually attached?
That's crazy. Cruel Arrow only does 100, so it would have to be like a 3-hit KO. Are we gonna Legacy Star now?
Yeah, this has to be the turn for it.
Please?
But it has to 100%. Well, I guess no, it has to get Prime Catcher E-switch back.
Yeah. No other option. The temptation to boss now is so strong, but you're just gonna catch her, so don't. A lot of clicking happening here. Let's get that Legacy Star. Oh, Dragapult's down. That's good because now you can just get like 1 damage counter shy of the game.
Yeah, math doesn't help a lot here.
Yeah.
There will need to be an attack by something that is not a Regidrago this game. So you want to set up the damage in such a way that you can take a final prize with either the Ogerpon or the Mew.
I think there's a world in which you gust at the Gardevoir and you use Dragapult's attack in order to massively damage it enough for the Ogerpon.
Mm-hmm. And leave the Screamtail in play.
Yep. Leave the Screamtail in play instead of take the KO?
Well, it depends on the energy count, I suppose.
Well, if you're using the Dragapult's attack, then the 60 damage you just drop 1 on the.
But
okay, what's happening?
If there isn't enough energy for the Gardevoir to retreat, there is a play for leaving the 4 in play just stuck. But
no way. I'm looking. I mean, you're correct, but I'm looking at it like this is our opportunity to lower the turn clock. Meanwhile, I guess you get the same effect from the Pheasantipity.
Okay.
It's not the attacker, so you can't knock it out with Ogerpon without another gust, which you have.
Lost Impact.
Okay, we're just gonna do that.
You're assuming this Drago is getting knocked out, so the energy on here doesn't matter. We can easily use it up for this attack.
That's so risky.
Rethinking it.
That's so risky.
I think
you had to do it that way.
This is correct, right? We know that another Pokemon has to attack that's not a Regidrago.
Yeah.
So guaranteeing the 2 prizes right now, getting rid of their Pheasantipity draw, feels pretty good.
It's still rough.
Game may have broken, unfortunately.
No, not like this. Not like this. Just spamming the end turn button.
It just got updated. Come on.
This is not for real. I didn't see it. My eyes are closed. I didn't see it. The game's working perfectly fine. We've moved on to the next turn. Gardevoir is promoted. Oh no. Folks at home, this is not the way it needs to be. This is not the way it needs to be in top 4. Oh, chat, I'm sorry.
That's rough. It would have been such an interesting end to the game.
I'm not going to heal.
But at least we have some animations in the battle log now, so. Pretty cool.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
All right. How do we how do we adjust this? Let's see.
I feel like they decided to attack me personally. Like the TCG Live said, it's not about the two players anymore. It's about the viewer and the viewer experience. And the viewer is going to have a quiet night not watching the game, which is not what we signed up for. This is Top Cut. This is when we get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh. And you're right, they did just update. You know, they're working pretty hard on this game, but it just seems to... It's not the same as it used to be.
Well.
Well, if we can't get any more of that game this evening, folks should know at home that there's a very exciting tournament coming up this Saturday. In fact, there's 2 of them this Saturday, and there's another one later this evening. So we've got Pokemon in spades and hearts, clubs, and aces. So be on the lookout for those tournaments. The NA tournament is this evening. It's starting at 7 Eastern time, which is in about 5 minutes. And this Saturday is a charity tournament with Late Night Shuffle Squad. We are expecting to see some exciting tournament matches play out with some incredible prizes. Nate, are you going to be taking part in that event this weekend?
I believe I will, yes. There's both a TCG Live and Pokemon Pocket tournament coming up thanks to our friends at Advanced GG.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I am looking forward to those tournaments and also to seeing some Pocket coverage. That is not something that people have had a ton of coverage of yet. I think this might be Shuffle Squad's first time covering it.
I'm excited to see how it plays out. I have not seen a lot of Pocket, but it seems like people are really liking it so far.
Yeah, I've been playing a little too much Pocket to be healthy, but that's, you know, nothing new is there. Right, let's see if maybe...
I'm still watching the gameplay. There was just a timer on screen. Like it was timing down like the turn was going to end and timer ended. It's still nothing's happening.
Oh, the turn will never end. It just goes on forever, endlessly.
All right, well, we're going to try to sort this out. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with some Pokemon. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, we're back. We have restarted our game. So we're back on turn 1.
You know, which is a nice, fresh, clean slate. It's almost January. It's almost New Year's, so we're a little month early. Best time for a New Year's resolution is a month before the New Year. Yep, 100%.
I think we just got Star Chronos in real life, actually.
Well, I don't see any Archaludon. Are you near a bridge right now?
What's the nearest bridge to me right now, Google?
Wait a minute. Okay, we have on one side of the field Reggie Drago getting very well set up with Squawkabilly, 2 Ogerpon, 2 Reggie Drago V. Across the field, just 1 Conkeldurr and a Pheasantipity, but it's also Capitol's turn, so we should see some more basics drop down.
Oh, no.
That, I don't like that. Where are the Ralts? Where are the Ralts?
It's a bad sign. That is a Cruel Arrow play, I think, in 3 turns.
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to see that at all. Boss's orders. For Reggie Drago.
The empty Drago. Leave it stranded a little bit.
This is not acceptable. I mean, people are being hurt right now.
Meanwhile, we have a Professor's Research, draw 7 fresh cards, finds the V-Star.
Discarding 2 boss, but that's not a problem because we now have a Vessel to discard that Dragapult and plenty of grass energy to fill up the field and an E-Switch and access to Legacy V-Star, so there will be an attack this turn, and it will be devastating.
Yes. We already know there's not a lot going on in Capitol's hand. It could be a lot of supporters, so there could be a way to stabilize, but feels like if we get to an attack this turn, which seems likely, it's going to be pretty rough for Gardevoir.
Yeah. Now, the good news is if you knock out the Conkeldurr, the Pheasantipity will still be there, and you'll still be able to take a knockout prize draw 3 kind of scenario, but we are already starting off rough.
Play the Hoot Hoot set up for another turn. Let's see, we're going to draw some cards from our teal dances. We have 1 E-Switch. Oh, finds the second V-Star. Man.
Okay. Well, it's, it's one of those days.
When Drago gets set up, it really gets set up,
It does, in fact, really get set up. Okay, it looks like Capitolurr took last game. They marked it. It was not a judge call, so that means Gardevoir technically won game 1 because Reggie Drago disconnected.
It was going to be a close one, but it feels like perhaps Gardevoir was in a more commanding position.
Yeah, only by a little bit, but I would have called that for Gardevoir as well. Really thinking through this turn here. Having a hand of just a Super Rod is never a fun time, but you still have Legacy V-Star about
Top
it.
Deck a Poffin. That's not the
Okay,
worst.
that's good. Some Ralts would be good.
Is there Kyurem in? Okay, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. There's also no Manaphy around, which is unfortunate. You could just suddenly have 2 Ralts go away.
Yeah, it feels like even with just an what is it called? Phantom Dive could be really, really devastating for these Ralts. Take out 1, you set the other one up to get knocked out the next turn. Yeah, just 2 Ralts, attach a Psychic to the active Conkeldurr and pass.
Okay.
Time to get started. Off to the races here for Drago. Just simply going to attach the grass Apex Dragon into Phantom Dive. Set up the Pheasantipity for a knockout later. Set up some damage on these 2 Ralts. And knock out the active Conkeldurr.
Yep, clean. Next turn, you're set up to take a pretty good damage chunk out of everybody.
At the very least, our Capitolurr cards can flip the script for some extra draws, but they really need those 3 cards to be something big here.
Okay, what do we got?
Nothing yet. Really thinking through everything. This is a rough spot to be in. Just the setup was so thorough from Reggie Drago. Sometimes they can miss the fire energy. Sometimes they can miss the V-stars, but they really have it all here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole board is just completely set to go. So even with that hand being so completely useless, it doesn't matter. Just top deck something good and you're done. Counter catcher for the Reggie Drago that can't attack right now. There's still Legacy V-Star, so when I say it can't attack, I'm not telling the truth. It can absolutely just use the V-Star and attack.
You force the resources to be used.
Or just get the cards off the Iono. Double E-switch knocked out off the Iono. I'm sorry. Are we playing Pokemon? Or are we playing just draw everything? Okay, Curly is coming in.
Hopefully, at the very least, we can TM Evo this turn with the Drifloon. Okay, yeah, we can. So doing the best with what their start was here, we are going to have perhaps a Gardevoir and certainly a Curlia or two. And we get to Artisan for another something. Whether that's a Ralts or a Screamtail or... We'll see. Two energies only in the discard. That is something that needs to start happening for Gardevoir. Always a little mini game to play during the course of the game to set up your energy cards in the discard so they can get pulled out.
Absolutely. Okay.
Doesn't find anything with the Artisan, actually.
Okay. Just a little deck search, just checking. Nice ball for Greninja.
A great way of getting those energies in the discard.
Consider that TM evolutioned.
Both Gardevoir and Curlia joining the team. The two E-switches just waiting. And the Noctowl even. Find anything else you want.
That's just a perfect Iono. That was very unfortunate for our Gardevoir player.
One of the worst of all times, I think. It could not have been much worse than that for Cappador.
I mean, let's see. Do you gust up the Pheasantipity here? No, you just knock out all the attackers.
Yeah, take out the Curlia and the Drifloon at the same time.
And slap down another 20 somewhere. Bam. And it's good night Drifloon. Good night Curlia. Now, a creative Kyurem turn could close this game out, or if you've got maybe a Screamtail in play, just boss up the Pheasantipity, Phantom Dive done. So Reggie Drago is in a very commanding position here. Should be able to take back the set and go 1-1 after that awful disconnect earlier in the matchup, but they just need to not disconnect again.
Yeah. Very skillful choice, you know? Just don't disconnect.
You know, it's proof that no matter what situation you're in, there's always an out. Sometimes it's a power outage, but it's an out. Sometimes
the game doesn't let your Pheasantipity die.
Sometimes you just need more electric types. Okay, there's that Screamtail.
Pulls it out this time. Hey, we do need to start attacking with something.
It's true, but the problem is that you just gust it and it's, you know, a problem. Although Screamtail should be able to knock out the Noctowl or the Hoot Hoot. Not that you would, but you know, maybe you just need to get something going, prevent a little boss action.
Stamp could be big.
Stamp and a Hoot Hoot knocked out could do something. Maybe we're gonna knock it out with the Gardevoir, because the Gardevoir is it's in range for 280 from a.
Yeah, the Giratina is a big problem. Yeah.
Flipping the script.
Feels like we maybe are already too far behind, though.
We're gonna Psychic in the discard. It's one less to retreat with, but there's the one to retreat. Scoot it on back. And who are we promoting?
Gotta be Screamtail here.
No way. Because all you need is a single. I don't know. Well, I guess not. I guess it's Screamtail. That seems wrong to me. I mean, why would you counter catcher up the Hoot just to knock it out with Screamtail? Right?
Oh no, you're not. You hit the bench with Screamtail.
Exactly. Like you can't. So
yeah.
What's the plan?
The Hoot is staying
KO?
inactive to force some choice off the V-Star, right?
I guess. But like you have the Prime Catcher in there, right? Like
well, it's in deck. I don't think it's in discard yet.
It's not in deck after this top deck. Top Cut Kick takes care of it. Yeah, you're right. It's not in discard. I was simply fooling. You've been bamboozled.
So this could. I mean, we could take 2 prizes. I don't know if that's what we want to do, but
oh, there's Squawkabilly. I forgot about that one. He's just there. Yeah, I mean, you need prizes, so go get them. Let's just casually top deck Pheasant Dippity. There's nothing unbiased about that. I feel like you just like a C-Star.
The client knows it messed up. It's trying to make things right.
That's true, because that disconnect was unfair. That was unfair. Okay, Prime Catcher's in there. We just need to get it. That's all. Easy.
I mean, even without Prime Catcher, if we draw an energy off of Pheasant Dippity, it's still getting worse and worse for Gardevoir.
Mm-hmm. Ultra Ball thin that deck a little bit more. Iono thin that deck a little bit more. Or, we could just get a Noctowl off the top of the deck. That's, like that.
Yeah.
Just casually. Yeah.
That's
I think it declares it over.
Jewel Seeker for Prime Catcher. Don't even need a second card.
Nope.
And a Phantom Dive onto Pheasant Dippity and Screamtail will be the last 3 prizes.
That was clean as could be.
Once again, we see the power of Reggie Drago when it gets set up. It is very, very strong deck in its current.
Yeah, that setup was so sharp.
Iteration, yeah.
Look at all those cards you didn't need.
All you need is 1 Dragapult and maybe 1 or 2 V-Star Reggie Dragos. Off to the races.
Dragapult in a dream.
The Giratina is incredibly helpful as well. It puts pressure onto the Gardevoir in a way that none of the other attacks really can.
Yep. Game 3. It all comes down to this. For top 4. You're in the finals.
Already making top 4 for both these players, though. It's quite the feat.
I said it's in top 4. They're in top 4.
Yeah, I'm saying either way, they've done very well to get to this point.
That's true. It is not easy to get to top 4 out of 259 players. That is many, many people.
Gardevoir getting to go first. Not a great hand for Reggie Drago. I suppose they are going second, so they can play the Iono to get a fresh look at it. But
yeah, and 2 mulligans helps. That's definitely a big help. Just need to get a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You can get some Teal Dance going.
Starting the Ralts is pretty ideal. Hopefully it's a better turn 1 than last game.
Yeah, I would hope so. Maybe like a Poffin, maybe a Nest Ball. Just a casual, basic anything. please.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is not going well.
Oh,
Okay,
they've
Earthen
got
Vessel.
stuff.
They were just thinking. I was concerned.
You never know.
That's true. All right, Nate, looking at this matchup, how do you feel? We've seen this matchup for several metas now. How do you feel? Who do you think's got it?
I feel like I have to give the edge to Reggie Drago. It feels like if they get going even at all, it becomes so hard for Gardevoir to come back.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. Gardevoir having to walk on water to make this matchup work.
It feels like you can never attack with Gardevoir because it'll just get return KO'd by the Giratina. You have to evolve your stuff quickly so it doesn't get Curumed and you lose all your Ralts.
Okay, we are discarding some Curlia resources for a Greninja. Good, good. Need some card draw.
We have energy from the vessel to concealed. I suppose something that we could see from Gardevoir that we haven't seen yet is attacking with Drifloon, which can threaten the full 280 health of fresh Reggie Drago. Leaving the Klefki inactive turns off the ability of the Teal Dance.
I mean, that's dangerous. There'll be no Teal Dancing for that Ogerpon. They've canceled music. Okay, we're going to get a Super Rod play and probably a pass.
The dance hall is locked by Klefki. They can't get in.
You're just rattling the doors. Let me in. Let me in.
Dance is canceled.
Oh, just top deck Dragapult to discard off a Vessel. Sure, that's fair and balanced. Although I don't like the 3 E-switch because you're going to have to do something.
Iono this hand.
And you can't. Like. Yeah. I mean, you could pick them up later with Legacy Star. It's those are like your key resource, and you don't really want to Iono your opponent here, but
we might not even take energy here, actually. Because whatever we take is going straight to the bottom, it feels like.
Yep. I mean, if you're trying to maximize your basic draw, I don't think it's the worst idea to take 2 grass here. Because you're trying to like thin your deck out, technically speaking. But I agree, you're not gonna get any benefit directly. It's just, do you get the thinning or not?
Doesn't take any.
Or they're just gonna commit to the Professor, which would be astonishing. But yeah,
if all a Vessel did was put a Dragapult in your discard, that's still halfway there.
That start is not good. That is not good.
No Drago, no extra Teal Dance.
I mean, you could manually attach, so maybe if they switch out the boss or switch the Klefki or something, you could attack next turn. This is rough.
It feels like you have to manually attach 1 at least.
Yeah. There's definitely an argument there that you should have Professored instead of Iono, but I don't blame them for a second for choosing the Iono there. It's such a greedy play to discard all those E-switch.
Yeah, I don't think you can handle throwing away 3 energy switches.
I don't even know if the 4th one's prized. It doesn't matter.
It was in
3
the deck.
E-switch down is bad. Yeah, Gardevoir's pressing all the right buttons.
I saw a deck list on Twitter recently of someone playing Gardevoir with 4 Klefki.
4 Klefki? For what?
The idea was just starting Klefki wins games. So let's start Klefki as often as possible.
Wow. That is a choice. They just play the Iron Thorns meta?
But we can see, I mean, it did a lot of work here. It's shut off the Teal Dance, no drawing cards.
That's true.
There are even better applications for this mysterious lock from Klefki.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, they're absolutely locked in and going for that final spot.
How much setup / damage can we do on this turn from Gardevoir?
Probably a good chunk. Our poor Conkeldurr player just hanging out in the waiting room for the final is just like, okay, are we done now? Are we ready? Meanwhile, we're over here like watching some like actual sauce. I hope they're in stream. I hope they're in chat. They deserve to see what they're waiting on.
I suppose
So we're
Conkeldurr would
excited.
rather be fighting Reggie Drago slightly.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the
like-
psychic weakness isn't super relevant, but the lack of one prizers definitely is.
Yeah. And they have the grant to get the full 280 damage. Like, that's the whole point.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, an Evo TM only for Curlias. We're not setting up the Gardevoir just yet.
Okay, there's another grass type Ogerpon, so we could get some Teal Dancing now, but we also have Ionos. We're just, no Teal Dance. We're skipping Teal Dance.
It's still
Teal
shut
Dance is
off
legal.
by lock.
Okay, we got a Reggie Drago, and we have a pretty good opportunity to use a Professor next turn.
Yeah, that's a better Iono for sure.
Oh, that's right. Klefki blocks the entire field. I'm thinking over here it's like Fluttermane, even though
Yeah.
I've literally seen Klefki for at least a year at this point. Just sort of forgot some key information.
Clef key.
You know, I think you chuckled slightly. That means I'm winning.
Yeah. Gotta give it
Hey,
to it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Great refinement discarding a Poffin. They're thinking through the turn. They've got 2 more refinements remaining. There's a Poffin. They had 2 Poffins in hand. Just buddy Poffin. That's 4 buddies.
It's too many.
That's why they had to go to the discard. Alternatively, it would be delicious. Those were the last 2 buddy Poffins, so they got all the value they were going to get out of those pastries.
I mean, we've got our 3 Ralts out already.
Are they pastries or are they bread?
I think there's...
Gluten was involved.
Yeah, I think there's stuff inside. I think I would call it a pastry.
Okay.
Because don't
You
you
think they
make
have, like-
you make them with things, don't you? There's like ingredients.
Yeah. They've got the peppers on the outside, so there's probably some peppers on the inside. It's kind of like a spanakopita, but there's no cheese.
It could be.
Now I'm thinking about spanakopita, and that's fantastic. It's got spinach in it. It's got some bread. It's got some cheese. It's good stuff. It fit right in the Paldean region. A lot of food there. You know, the cooking in the Gen 9 video game was surprising. Like the quantity of like time that was put into it.
Sandwich making, stacking all the
Yeah.
ingredients. It's fun.
I do like making sandwiches. That's fun.
Okay, can we boss up this lone Reggie Drago this turn?
No.
There's a world where you Monkey Dory the 30 damage, then Gardevoir Miracle Force.
No, that would still be 10 short, wouldn't it? 190 plus. Oh, no, that wouldn't be 10 short. That would do it. They've already discarded 1 Dark Energy. Do they have the other or a Night Stretcher? And the Gust. I mean, that's a lot of resources to ask for, but it's very possible. But is it probable?
We're certainly, I think, attacking with Miracle Force. At the very least, you can set up either this Teal Mask Ogerpon or potentially the Reggie Drago for a knockout later with Adrena Brain.
That's true.
Finds the boss.
Boss.
What do
Where's
we
the
wanna
boss
set?
of Pheasantipity or something? Like, just, you know,
Maybe.
like for fun.
If we don't
No.
have the Monkey
What?
Dory this
What?
turn, this makes sense.
I'm sorry? The prediction game? This does not make sense. Why wouldn't you take the 2-hit KO on the Reggie Drago? That's already going to be your big attacking threat. Excuse me? I said that as a joke. Apparently it's the play.
You keep their cards in hand as low as possible.
I guess.
Always nice to take out the Pheasantipity.
The Miracle Force. That's true. It is always nice to get Pheasantipity. And it happens rather frequently. Okay,
Top
there's just
deck
top
of
decking the
Resar.
Reggie Drago. Sure.
Pretty
I'm
good.
sure there's nothing suspicious about just top decking the Reggie Drago. Okay, Nest Ball. These top decks have been delusionally good. Like, why
Yes.
are my top decks never this good?
We have the Giratina V-Star that we can get into the discard this pile, so we could knock out this Gardevoir if we wanted.
Plot armor. Plot armor. You know what? That's fair because this is Reggie Drago. You're allowed to have plot armor.
We still need to hit a couple pieces, but it is close.
Do we? We could just Legacy V-Star and magically have them.
A Research and a Legacy Star.
Just need to scoot that one out of the active. And there's an E-Switch.
Switch gets the attack, but we do still need Prime. Oh, no, we can't. We need the actual Switch.
I mean, you could Prime Catcher and knock out something else, but it's not illegal.
Not as good, though.
Heal in. Thinking through the turn. Looks like we're going to see a discard the fire energy play.
Set up the Noctowl, yeah.
Yep, I can see it. I can definitely see it. I feel like we're going to see a Legacy V start this turn. I mean, it just feels bad to pass and not attack. It just feels bad. Like, if you're taking the second prize to Gardevoir, ooh, I don't know. Good draw.
Don't really need that.
No. Good to have, but just not right now.
Thinking about whether this is the turn for the V-Star power or not.
I mean, when I play Reggie Drago, I play greedy. I just do it. But this player has chosen to hold the V-Star and been repeatedly rewarded for doing so. They're not doing so this time.
Doesn't find what we need.
The second E-Switch could do it. Because you just E-Switch.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So we have enough. We just...
Maybe a Research for the second?
Maybe an Ultra Ball so you can use the Noctowl? And then if you can't use the Noctowl, they have a Super Rod in hand. If you can't use the Noctowl, you could just use it to grab another Reggie Drago V-Star.
Takes the Super Rod.
I don't know how I feel about the double Super Rod play. There's something I'm not seeing.
Are we switching one of these grass so we can retreat from the active?
Yep, and then once they retreat, they'll have 3 energy to replace back with Super Rod. So very clean, good sequencing. Bird is down.
Do we Lost Impact? Or whatever the Giratina attack is called.
That's so rough. I think you have to.
So this is another reason to get the Super Rod, is that we are losing some energy to the Lost Zone here.
I feel like you could Lost Zone the fire because you have the other one in hand. But that's so rare to make that choice.
Yeah.
This is one of those times.
So 2 prizes here and not an easy route to a return KO for Gardevoir.
No, not at all. Gardevoir is not having a good time, but maybe there's a plan. Night Stretcher Gardevoir go, but not a good time at all. We're going to need to see something super.
They need to find Gardevoir and Drifloon this turn, which feels like a lot to ask. But if they do find it, they're pretty set up. That would be a very, very good swing. Potentially draw up to 6 cards between refinements and concealed cards.
Nest Ball
finds the Drifloon. Or maybe Screamtail if they want to try to stall something up a little bit longer.
Well, it's not going to be a Ralts. It's definitely not going to be a Ralts.
I think you're right.
Ralts. If they pull out a Ralts, it's clear that I've become prophetic and can see the future, which is a very Gardevoir thing to do.
Drifloon.
Someone in chat just said Bazinga. Incredible word. Oh, that was PJ.
Finds the dark for a Drain Brain also. It's coming together.
Okay. Is this a 4-price turn? 4-price turn confusion? 2-price turn confusion. I'll take a 2-price turn confusion. We just need to get a Gardevoir.
It can still be 4. You could have Drain Brain to the Fez and then Drifloon knock out the active.
So it could be 4, but it's 2 with confusion.
Right.
Maybe I'm confusion. I didn't understand you there, but that was on me. Heavy Ball. Discarding.
Ultra Ball gets us our Gardevoir.
Okay, there we are. We are so back.
What else do we have? Charm for the Drifloon. It's coming together.
Okay. Could this be it? Unfair stamp. Okay.
This could be the turn.
This could be the turn.
Refinement. Oh, this is so scary.
Okay. And gotta be careful about the retreat and the energy attachment so you have enough damage counters to put down.
So this Balloon Blast is 30 damage for each damage counter on Drifloon. With 100 damage here, it's going to be 300 damage, enough for the knockout.
Very clean. Where are you going to get that? I guess Monkey Dory could just knock out Pheasantipity. Yep.
Big 4-prize turn here, taking out the only Reggie Drago V-Star in play, taking out the card draw from the Pheasantipity.
That is going to be devastating to come back from with just a switch and an Ultra Ball. But we will be able to use Noctowl. So
is that enough, though? I don't think it is.
You're going to need an attach. You're going to need a Reggie Drago V-Star. You're going to need a double E-switch and 2 grass and probably something to discard off of a vessel and the vessel. So that's like 8 cards.
That's way too many cards. We don't have that many.
No, but maybe there's a way. Maybe if you use Hoot Hoot's attack, okay?
Oh.
Because that does what? Is it 10 or is it
I don't
10
know.
or is it point flip? This is relevant. Because this is an actual out. I'm looking at this right now. This is the real information.
An attack that has never been announced in any game. Triple stab, 10x, flip 3 coins, does 10 damage for each heads.
Are you kidding me? We could have like a coin. I want to see it. I want to see it, and I want them to flip the coins. No, they're not gonna do it. They're just gonna. A Radiant Charizard could do something here. Radiant Charizard could deliver.
Remember, there is the one fire in the Lost Zone.
Yeah, but there's 2 in the deck. You could get one out of there. Oh, this is so close. You're gonna need a supporter, and you're gonna need a Zard. Or I guess maybe you just. No, you have to get the Zard first, I think. So, supporter, maybe a Nest Ball.
Research Nest Ball and hope you draw 7 into the right things.
Yeah, that's so hard because there's more outs for the Zard than there are for the energy, but you just don't have. Okay, that's not the worst idea.
Put a Drago V-Star back in.
Yeah, I could see it. Put some energy in as well.
And Fez.
Yeah.
Okay, not the Drago V-Star.
I mean, the Drago V-Star is not attacking this turn. And in order of what you need this turn, this is the Super Rod order. Okay, they put in the Drago V-Star, and you were right. This research is going to be incredible.
Finds the Fez. Gets us more cards.
That's true, and there's the outs to grab the Zard and the Fire Energy, so we just need a retreat option for that, and Catcher's in the deck. I feel like you have to thin before you Pheasantipity, and that's the way to thin. Teal Dance is fine here. Teal Dance is very understandable here. Vessel.
Thins more.
Yep, and gets you more Teal Dance pieces.
Is it doing enough though? Can't we just Adrenabrain Miracle Force next turn?
Probably. I mean, I guess you could maybe get a Prime Catcher off of the Pheasantipity and then knock out the...
You can't leave the Drifloon alive.
Yeah. I mean, you could Phantom Dive if you could set up Reggie Drago and knock out both the Monkey Dory and the...
Flipping the script. Last chance.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't think it's happening. It's got to be a play. It's got to be a play. I still think that the Hoot Hoot play would have been fun. Okay, it wouldn't have worked. There was like a 66% chance it would have worked. Doesn't matter. It would have been great. Actually, 2/3 of the time it works every time. So.
We may never see a Hoot Hoot attacking.
Probably for the best.
Has to pass the turn. Trying to set up as much as they can, but now it's all in Cappador's hands.
Goodness gravy. We don't like that.
Boss ends the game. Knocking out
taking a long
Noctowl
time.
doesn't feel the worst either.
Yeah, putting up Noctowl was a good choice. I still would have I think Hoot Hoot attacking would have been better. I mean, you needed to set it for next turn. So this is me just going on a roll. I think it would have been better for the spectator experience, which is the only experience that matters.
I suppose it depends on if the boss is in deck or not.
That's
we
true.
can draw our whole deck.
There's just not much in the deck to draw.
There's one boss in the discard. How many are in the list?
The fact that Drifloon survived a turn is
only
just
the one, and there's only one boss.
Something's happening here. Something's happening here. There's Screamtail. Bravery Charm on the Screamtail.
That's
and
enough,
then Adrenabrain. Yeah. No need for a boss. Do they have a Bravery Charm? They would have discarded it off of Turo. Although with Noctowl fairly stuck in the active, it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 card hand does not hurt either. So if there is an out, I think they have it.
We can set up on the Pheasantipity as well. Adrenabrain this turn and next turn will be enough with the damage from the Screamtail.
Yep. Interesting choice to bench the Artisan. Or not bench. It's not a Pokemon. To drop the Artisan.
Not going to be much help to either player at this point.
The art was off, but now the art is on. Okay, this is close. Reggie Drago, you're going to need to pull it out of nowhere. Do you have it?
Think so.
I bet you do.
Artisan to see what we got left.
I don't recommend
a
the
single E-switch.
That feels so bad. How are you
Oh
going to
no, there's two. There's three. Hold on, wait.
Oh, there's three. Okay, we're good. After that early game choice between Iono and discard them, yeah.
But we can't draw any cards. We have two Teal Dances. That's it.
Oh, this is so rough.
And the manual attachment has to go to the Noctowl.
No, I think it. Oh, yeah, you're right. It does. It does. That fire energy is not helpful. We're gonna need a miracle off of this last Teal Dance. I mean, there's a world where you just, I don't know. Never mind. I was gonna say you attack with the Ogre Pawn. I was like, that doesn't work at all. So that was delusional. I don't even see a supporter you could grab. Like, what is there a one of card you could get?
I don't think so.
even if you boss knock out the Monkey Dory, you still have.
I don't think they can even attack this turn.
Yeah.
So we stalled the Greninja. Hope they don't have energy in hand, but they.
Oh no. No. I think Gardevoir is fine. No, Gardevoir just already has it.
It's
They
just Monkey
all you
Dory.
have to do is
Yeah,
pass and
sure.
just Monkey Dory. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Well, that was close. That was real close.
Very, very close game. With Gardevoir coming out on top.
What a
Capital
wonky
cards.
endgame.
Yeah. Really, really tough from both players.
Hard fought. Both of them did excellent.
So it's Gardevoir, Conkeldurr in the finals.
I would not have predicted that at the start of the day.
When you're casting, sometimes you just say new sentences that have never been said before. And they're for everyone to hear, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out, but they're going to play it out, and it'll be very entertaining. That's if we can get them to stream. So.
I believe I've heard that we cannot, but
no, I'm not listening.
Let's see. It seems like that's probably going to be the end for us.
Rip.
But the match will happen, and you all can check the results at the end to see if the hero Conkeldurr can take down Gardevoir overlords or not. You never know.
That's true.
It feels like an uphill battle, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, if you're hungry for more Pokemon, you know where to come get it. Team Shuffle Squad is doing another late night event this evening and a big charity tournament double series this Saturday. So if you want to watch some Pocket, head on over on Saturday. It'll be at 5 Eastern. And the other one with TCG Live will be at noon Eastern. So Saturday, mark your calendars. That's what you're doing on Saturday.
Big time Saturday. Any other parting words, Mick? Been a great cast.
It's been a fabulous day with fabulous decks, and I'm glad we got to see them together, Nate. Thank you for being here.
So tune in for the NA Top Cut in a few hours from now, but thank you all for being here. We'll see you later.
Bye, chat.